Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama. Call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Good morning, Cayman. Here is your daily headlines from CMR for Wednesday, December 11th.
Good morning, Cayman. The CMR team is bringing you today's headline stories for December 11th. Let's start now with an urgent plea from the police. The RCIPS has issued an important public safety alert. The police are seeking assistance in locating a suspect involved in an assault that occurred on public transport over the weekend. The incident occurred early Saturday morning on a bus traveling from Georgetown to West Bay. Police report that at approximately 6:30 a.m., a male passenger allegedly harassed and assaulted a female passenger on the route. The police provided the following description of the suspect. He was described as approximately 6 feet tall, had a dark brown complexion, and was wearing construction attire at the time of the incident. While police responded to the incident later that morning, they have not yet been able to locate the individual. They're now turning to the public for assistance. If you have any information about this incident, you're urged to contact the West Bay Police Station. The number to call is 949-3999. All information will be treated with strict confidentiality.
Our top local story this morning. Foster's Airport Centre is set to reopen today, following yesterday's electrical fire incident. The grocery store was forced to close temporarily after a small electrical fire broke out in the produce section yesterday afternoon. While the fire was quickly contained, store management took immediate precautions, evacuating all customers and staff to ensure public safety. A thorough inspection of the premises was conducted following the incident. The store's sister location, Price Right, was able to resume operations several hours after the incident. However, Foster's Airport Centre remained closed to allow for a complete safety assessment. Store officials have confirmed that Foster's Airport Centre will resume normal operations this morning.
We begin with a landmark development in healthcare for the Cayman Islands. The long-awaited Poinsiana Rehabilitation Center has officially opened its doors, bringing new hope to mental health patients and their families. After 10 years of planning and development, the 54-bed adult facility was formally opened yesterday afternoon in a ceremony led by Deputy Governor Franz Manderson. This opening marks a particularly significant moment for Caymanian patients currently receiving treatment in Jamaica. Facility Director Marcia Mullings-Thompson has confirmed these patients will be returning home before Christmas. The journey to this point hasn't been without its challenges. The project faced several setbacks during construction, including budget overruns and initial issues with electrical inspections. However, those hurdles were finally cleared last week when the facility received its full certificate of occupancy. The center will begin accepting patients using a phased approach, with priority given to relocating those currently receiving care overseas.
Turning to a few regional stories making the rounds this week.
We turn now to a dramatic scene that unfolded in the Bahamas Parliament last week, where a heated debate turned physical, leading to multiple injuries and the removal of several lawmakers. Opposition member Shannon Cartwright was at the center of the incident, which occurred during a contentious debate over recent police corruption allegations. The situation escalated when Speaker Patricia DeVoe declined to recognize Cartwright during the proceedings. According to parliamentary sources, Cartwright then approached the Speaker's position and seized the ceremonial mace, traditional symbol of parliamentary authority, before throwing it through a window. The incident resulted in 2 injuries. The Deputy Speaker was taken to hospital after being struck during the altercation, and a police officer sustained a leg injury. Law enforcement subsequently removed Cartwright and several other lawmakers from the chamber. This disruption came during discussions of serious allegations involving Bahamian police officials who are currently facing U.S. federal charges related to alleged cocaine trafficking.
In Jamaican news, a popular Jamaican TikTok creator was fatally shot Saturday night while streaming live on the platform, marking the latest in a series of violent incidents targeting social media influencers in the country. Xavier Nia Gang Foga, 23, was gunned down on Panton Lane in St. Catherine shortly after 9 p.m. while participating in a TikTok match live streaming feature where creators co-host together. Moments before the shooting, Foga and his co-host were exchanging confrontational remarks about their ability to locate and harm each other. When attackers approached, both Foga and a companion fled before shots were fired off camera. Deputy Superintendent Michael Campbell of the St. Catherine South Police Division said there is currently no established motive for the killing. According to Campbell, Foga had no known gang affiliations and was not previously on law enforcement's radar as a violence producer. Friends of Foga, who gained popularity for his freestyle rap performances and controversial social media clashes, suggested jealousy may have played a role in his death. They noted his recent rise to TikTok fame and purchase of a BMW, a marked change from his previous work selling egg and plantain sandwiches.
In business news, a milestone achievement for one of our leading financial institutions. Cayman National Bank has been named Bank of the Year by The Banker magazine, making this their 8th time receiving this prestigious honor. The award comes as Cayman National celebrates its 50th anniversary. The bank topped the rankings in the Cayman Islands for its impressive combination of growth and strategic initiatives. The judging panel particularly noted Cayman National's commitment to enhancing customer experience. The bank has expanded its consumer loan offerings while making significant technological advances in its digital banking platforms. Among these innovations are their new interactive teller machines, or ITMs, which allow customers to conduct real-time banking and speak directly with advisors through video conferencing. The bank has also upgraded both its mobile banking app and website functionality. This focus on digital innovation, combined with their interactive remote services, showcases Cayman National's commitment to modern banking solutions while maintaining their traditional customer service values.
And now to some exciting news from our local sports scene, where young athletes have been making their mark in netball. The annual inter-primary and secondary netball finals just wrapped up, and what an event it turned out to be. Over 500 students from across the Cayman Islands showed up to compete, representing 14 different teams. The big story of the day was Clifton Hunter High School, which absolutely dominated the secondary school competitions. They pulled off an impressive feat, claiming championships in 3 divisions: under 12, under 14, and under 16. And speaking of impressive performances, we saw quite the upset in the primary school division, with Island Primary coming out on top. The atmosphere was electric, with spectators packing the sidelines of all 4 courts to watch these young athletes compete. St. Ignatius Catholic School also deserves a mention as they rounded out the secondary school victories by taking home the under 18 title. It's wonderful to see such enthusiasm for netball among our young athletes. Back to you, James, with more sports news.
Thank you for joining us for this news segment. Just a quick reminder that these stories and more can be found on our website and social media platforms, with all news being shared on our WhatsApp channel.
All right. Good morning, K-Man. Can you hear me today? Hello. Folks in Radio Land, can you hear me loud and clear? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, can you hear me now? Let me know. Boy, what a conundrum yesterday. The good news is it wasn't anything to do with me, honey child. I was sitting here doubting myself. I'm like, what am I not pressing? Well, things happen. Systems fail. Things happen. What can I tell you? And yesterday apparently was a day for it to happen. My apologies to our guest, Health City. That was not good. But hopefully the back end now is sorted out. So I think we're good to go. Everybody can hear me loud and clear. Hank Curlston, I see you over there on Instagram. Donna345, I see you. Paul, let's see. Troy, Troops, Fish K-Man 345, Sea Life. Lady Miles is hanging out with us as well. Look at the Instagram, folks. Come on through, y'all. Come on through. And of course, we got Facebook coming in strong at 113 and growing. YouTube 91 and growing. Shaka Zulu's in the house. Good morning, Shaka. How are you? Loud and clear. That's what I like to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, what a thing. Well, we decided to continue with the show so that our radio listeners at least could hear us. But everybody else was just sitting there watching me. I was surprised how many of you stayed on the live feed, just watching me trying to read lips or something. I don't know. But thank you for that. I felt the love and support, regardless of the tech issues. And some of you were of the opinion that, Auntie Julie was trying to put her negative mojo on me. That don't work. Her negative mojo does not work over here. There's like a line on the mall road, right? We're on the good side of the mall road. Any bad vibes can stay on the other side. And we are good to go. I see Instagram having some issues this morning, so we're going to restart the Instagram feed. Not to worry, Instagram folks, we got you. So, yes, there was so much yesterday that I wanted to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. First of all, what a weekend. I told you guys I went to Miami for a few days. I like to go in December just to kind of get a little bit more in the Christmas spirit. I must admit, having lived in the States for 15 years, there is just something about Thanksgiving that's different there. It's a totally different vibe. There's something about, the Christmas season. There's lots more activities. I went to Christmas Wonderland, which was amazing. I had a fantastic time. I took the Ferris wheel ride, first time ever. It's going so slow that if you're not fond of heights, you're just kind of like, OMG. But anyway, did that, saw lots of lights. We did a whole botanic garden thing, which was awesome, where they have like a light show at the botanic garden. It was so beautiful. And I was thinking here, the botanic garden here could do something like that. And it'd be a wonderful fundraising event. In the month of December, the lights at night with all the trees and foliage and everything does something amazing to the garden. And I mean, it was just so beautiful. So steal the idea, Botanic Park, and do it. I mean, it's called a Night in the Gardens or something, but beautiful. And I didn't get to see all of Christmas Wonderland because it was so big and there was so much to see, so many amazing rides. I only went on the one, and Gigi did a couple kiddie rides, but we had lots of photo ops and just a great time. We got some pictures done. I wanted to do some professional pictures, like a little photo shoot, but I wasn't able to arrange that this year. So what we did instead was we just did our Christmas photos with Santa. And that worked. They came out pretty good. So all in all, a good weekend overseas, but Cayman kept me busy with all the news. So I was very, very saddened to wake up and hear the news of a fatality going into Saturday morning, and then another one basically Saturday night. Less than 24 hours, two of our relatively young people have lost their lives. I don't know how we're going to get a hold of the driving situation in Cayman, but I think it has got to be a top priority for this country to somehow decrease the number of accidents generally, and definitely the number of fatalities. I know that ultimately comes down to the drivers on our roadways, but we need to do more of an educational effort. No young person should be able to get a driver's license in this country and get behind a wheel, right? Without having sat down. I remember they did this to us when I took driver's ed. So we had to take driver's ed in high school as part of our sort of curriculum to eventually get our license. And one of the first things they did was to show us a video of young people in particular, because y'all tend to make really poor decisions, in the vehicle getting in a car accident. And they just showed it to you raw. So, you saw the mangled metal, the mangled bodies, the whole 9 yards. Take these young people to the morgue and let them see what happens to the body when you run into a light pole, you crash, you burn, whatever the situation is, right? It's unfortunate because ultimately these lives that are being lost, this is somebody's family member, somebody's child, brothers and sisters. And so we have to take more of a concerted effort to curtail the number of fatalities on our roadways. Now, let's talk about the two cases because they are distinctly different in some respects. So the first one, that young lady, what's her name? Something Lopez. She decides after a Christmas party at Luca to go and have, one too many drinks. And then she turns around and gets behind the wheel of a car. Now, there are people who were there at the party, and my sources said to me that they actually, speaking of accidents this morning, another accident by the Linford Pearson roundabout, school bus and a Kia Sportage. Really? A school bus involved in an accident this morning. Lord have mercy. Anyway, this young lady had too many drinks, and she was actually advised. Now, this is the part. I saw, big shout out to Beto Anglin. I saw Beto's comment on the social media post about this situation, basically saying, oh, you made it sound like the headline made it sound like she killed someone, and this was just an accident. Listen, y'all need to curtail that kind of thinking. I don't necessarily want to hear it. I mean, you're free to say whatever you want. But I'm going to make it very, very clear here this morning, in case you had any doubts about my position here, that I don't care about how she's feeling or what she has done to her own life, because that was her decision to make. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about it generally speaking. I'm going to talk about some specifics that I know about this case. I'm just trying to quickly find his comment, because I got to tell you that this comment is one of the reasons why our young people are so slack. Because we give them so much of an incredible pass day in and day out. We find excuses for them. And parents, if you want to keep your children alive, I mean, she's only 24 years old. She is very, very young. I understand she's got a couple kids. But if you want to keep your children alive, you all have to do a better job, of being direct with them and sending them messages that, you know what, if you go out there and do this, this is the likely consequence. And when you have something being the likely consequence, you can't sit down and talk about, oh, I feel sorry for her. No, I don't. I don't feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for the poor Nepalese gentleman. I don't even know how old he is. But now that his family has to find a way to, get him back home in a box. That's where my sympathy lies. I don't have sympathy for people who just make stupid decisions. So I saw that this got a lot of comments. Let me just see if I can find his, because his kind of stood out as though well, we had reported it wrong. She didn't actually kill the guy. Well, guess what? He's dead at her hands. That's the very definition of killing someone. Now, you can dress it up and call it vehicular homicide or any other fancy word that you want. But when you make a decision, that takes somebody's life like that, you kill them. Why are we looking to sugarcoat this in any way, shape, or form? This situation doesn't need sugarcoating. She strikes me, and I don't know anything about her, but for her to make this kind of a decision, she strikes me as someone who never got the message early on in life that, you know what, when you make really poor decisions, there are going to be consequences for your actions. So now is not the time. I feel sorry for her kids because now she's got 2 kids. I mean, I hope they have somebody who, when she goes to jail, that is going to, sorry, that's the wrong one, that is going to be able to take care of them. But that now becomes a matter for her and her family and whoever the baby daddies are. I understand she's got a few of them. So, they can split custody of the kids. Listen, I understand as a mother how incredibly hard that's going to be. But you know what is even harder? It's even harder knowing that you have a child that will never be able to come home. That you have a child that even after she gets a little slap on the wrist and gets sent to jail for a few months, that you can't come out and go home to. So when it comes to playing the sympathy card, my sympathy is going to be with his family and not necessarily with her. Yep, sorry. Anybody else insulted? Too bad. Okay, so here's what Sir Beto shared with us. He says, it's very sad, but this could have been worded differently. That's where your concern is, that it could have been worded differently. Are y'all for real? As how it sounds is as though she willfully took the life of an Indian national after leaving her staff party, which leads to the speculation that she was drunk. Well, she was drunk. Genius. For all we know, she could have been completely sober and the person on the bike was at fault. And why does it matter if she was driving her new SUV when the incident happened? It's a sad situation all around, but unless you know the full details of this incident, it's best for those commenting to be mindful of their words rather than just jumping to conclusions. Many people are now using electric cycles as their primary mode of transportation, and these cycles are capable of speeds over 40 miles an hour. And many don't use safety gear such as helmets. There are times where they're riding along in the middle of the regular car lanes and not being properly visible and without proper care. My condolences to all those involved and impacted. Here's the thing about this comment that kind of got under my skin, right? On the one hand, you say, well, she didn't willfully take his life. How do we know she wasn't entirely sober? This, that, and another thing. What does it matter what she's driving? All these excuses for her. And then you try to put the blame, although you say in the one hand, let's wait until the full details of the incident comes out. But then on the other hand, you're like, well, what do we know about him? Maybe it was his fault. Maybe he wasn't wearing a helmet. Maybe he wasn't, he had an electric scooter. You see, that's called victim blaming. And I don't care what this man was doing in that moment. What I know is that she was at a party drinking alcohol. The staff, managing directors or whatever at Conyers told them, if you feel, which I'm going to talk about this because this is also problematic, but if you feel that you're unable to drink, call a cab, call a taxi, and we will reimburse you for that charge. Okay? But do not, under any circumstances, drink whilst intoxicated. All right. There were people at that party, Beto. This is K-Man. Okay? We don't live in silo. We don't live in isolation, especially when you go to a party with a couple hundred people. People know that she was drinking. Now, her level of intoxication, we will have to wait for. But there's no doubt she was not sober. She was drinking. Okay? Now, does that mean she was stumbling drunk or whatever? Well, my sources revealed that they actually took her keys from her at the party, and she took it back, insisting that she could drive. When someone is taking your keys, honey child, that is a good sign that other people do not think that you're capable of driving. So I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for her, right? It smells like a duck. It walks like a duck. It looks like a duck. It's probably a duck. You're right. We're going to have to wait to get all of the details of exactly what her blood alcohol level was, but I'm willing to bet the entire farm that she was not sober as you want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Let me tell you why we give people like this the benefit of the doubt. Y'all want the truth? Anybody want the cold hard truth this morning? Or y'all want me to sugarcoat this for you? Because I know how y'all stay, you know. You only want the cold hard truth when it's somebody else. When it comes to your own situation or somebody that you like, all of a sudden the cold hard truth hits a little bit differently. Let me tell you. I want you to look at this picture for 1 second. Okay? Look at her. Beautiful young lady. Yes. We will give people that we like, that are pretty, the benefit of the doubt Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday, every single day of the week. Why? Because that's what we do as human beings. It's kind of ingrained in our nature a little bit. Yeah? We enjoy dealing with people who are pretty, who look good. That's why they tell you, appearance, somebody's appearance is powerful. But y'all don't understand how incredibly powerful it is and the psyche, how it plays on your psyche. Good morning, caller.
Morning. I feel like whoever gave her back her keys is just as culpable because if she insisted and took her keys back or whatever, they should have immediately called the police. Mm-hmm. Whoever witnesses someone who is drunk, about to drive, and does not call the police, they are just as culpable for that murder. And it happens so often in Cayman. And honestly, I'm surprised there aren't more killings in Cayman, more vehicular murder. I shouldn't call it murder, mass, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often because, let me tell you, a lot of people drink.
Yeah. It's out of control. Drink and drive. Yeah.
Drunk and drive. Yeah. And a lot of people watch it happen.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. If I see it, I'm going to call the police.
Absolutely.
Because it could be my child that you kill.
Yeah. We'll talk some more. All right. So, yeah, I don't feel any kind of sympathy towards her at all. But I get it. I know why some of you feel sympathetic towards her, because you look at the pretty face and you think, oh, she looks like an angel. Surely, okay, she had a few drinks. Maybe she's a lightweight. She's been stressed out. She's had a hard life. Y'all just love excuses for people. That's why so many of our politicians get away with so much bad behavior. Because, I like McKeeva, My granny said how she used to raise him when he was in diapers and used to burp him over her leg. And, yeah. Stop looking excuses for bad behavior, Caymanians. We've got to learn to hold people accountable. All right? On a serious note, a man is dead. His family has to mourn this. Now, I also get that as Caymanians, sometimes we're not sympathetic towards the plight of other people, other places in the world. And this is a sad indictment on us as a community as well. Y'all don't know what it's like living in these poor countries. You don't know what it's like to be separated from your family and to have to travel halfway around the world just to get a minimum wage job. Hope you get some tips on top of it, to be able to send money back to support your family. And this is the dream of so many of these people. And when they come here and they lose their lives on Cayman's roadway, it's not just another life gone. That could be the breadline for an entire family. That could be the one hope that they had of trying to build a family home or, get out of one category of poverty and maybe have a little bit of something in life. We have to get a hold of this situation, and we have got to stop giving people excuses. We have some people in this island, young people in particular, who are weekend alcoholics, right? Maybe during the week they hold it down, they have a little job and whatever, but on the weekend They go out there drinking. It's ridiculous. Some of y'all need to go take a liver function test and see exactly what you're doing to your liver. There's a video I was watching, I think it's like week before last. I'll see if I can find it, about this young lady. She was a binge drinker on the weekends, and she had no idea how bad it was till she went in for physical. And the doctor's like, listen, if you continue this, and during the week she didn't drink, it was just weekends, but he said, you're drinking too much. If you continue this, you're going to get cirrhosis of the liver and you're going to kill yourself. And she's like in her 20s and had not realized that what she was essentially doing was binge drinking on the weekends. And that is extremely dangerous and has the same effect as, someone who's an alcoholic. People, let's make it very, very clear. We have got to do better, and we have got to expect better from the people around us. The narrative that we put out in the community to our young people in particular oftentimes dictates the decisions that they're going to make. They feel safe over consuming in this community. You know why? Because too many people are over consuming here in Cayman. Yep. Drugs, drinking, fornication. Yeah, some of y'all are sex addicts too. And it's just too much. And so you've got to rein it in. You've got to have conversations with these young people to let them know that their decisions will impact their life, their children's lives, and everybody else around them. YouTuber 345 says, even if the cyclist was in the middle of the road, the possibility that she was drunk made her much less reactive. Accidents do happen. I was reflecting on it. Remember, there was an accident. It was actually an early morning accident some years ago where a Caymanian guy, I can't remember who he was now. He hit someone. I think it was someone who was a pedestrian, actually, right there, not too far from where this accident would have happened on West Bay Road, kind of the roundabout where Indigo is now. I think it happened in that vicinity. And I only remember this case because I think she was a helper. And she was going to work that morning, and I guess he just didn't see her. She ran across the street. Something happened. And unfortunately, she lost her life. And it was really an accident. He was cleared. He didn't do any wrongdoing. So there are times when people run out in front of you and you just don't have enough time to react, to stop. You wouldn't have seen them. These things do happen. Yeah, very, very sad. And I remember people recorded the incident and he was so broken up about it. I mean, when you heard this man cry and wail, it was like, that woman was a part of his family, because I imagine that if you're a good, decent person, knowing that you've taken somebody's life hits you in a hard way as well. Some people don't care. And those are the people who get back and do the exact same thing over and over again, even after taking somebody's life. We've seen that there are people who will go out there and drink and drive again. They have absolutely no conscience about this whatsoever. And part of the reason why they have no conscience about it is, in my humble opinion, people in the community don't see it as such a big deal. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How you doing?
Not bad, honey. How are you?
I'm here, just hitting the road, heading into work. I tell you, every day, every single day, we are putting our lives in risk.
Yes.
People who just don't care.
Exactly.
And people are overtaking wherever they see an inch of road or marl or grass or sand or whatever it is. They believe they can go around it, and they're doing it. And last week I called in and I made a comment about role models, and I saw some reactions online about it. People are like, people have to be accountable for themselves. Yes, they do, but we cannot negate the fact that others are influencing what others do. People are, especially in our community, like, well, if they did it, I do it. And all of this, and they don't realize it's like, sometimes I think maybe these people, like, I don't live in fear of death, but I want to live. But maybe these people don't care, or they feel, I know at a certain point as a teenager,
they feel invincible. Yeah, they just don't think. And let me say this, caller. The human brain does not fully develop until the age of 25. Correct. She's on the cusp of it, so she's 24. So we have to give young people. That's why you're right. They need guidance. They do need role models, and we have to give them a little bit of grace. But there's certain things that just cross the line that she should have known. You do not get behind the wheel of a car if you're intoxicated. It's as simple as that.
Well, you see, and we send mixed messages in pretty much every aspect of society here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
From schools with their lunch programs, yet selling junk at every other event, and to this, look how many people are out here drinking all the time, and no one's really filtering anything or really checking IDs, or it's seen as it's okay. And yes, of course, I'm not saying that drinking is bad or whatever, but you cannot blame alcohol for causing things. You are putting it, your choice to put it in your body is the problem. The choice to overconsume, and then the choice to get behind a vehicle is another choice. And it's like, I feel sad for everyone involved, because most people, once they're sober and then they realize what they've done, it's a lot to live with. Yes, you have those that don't care, period. But I mean, people are not understanding the impact that everything actually has.
Absolutely.
We take a lot of things for joke here, and it's not until something tragic happens. This will not be talked about in a couple of weeks. It'll be gone again till the next event.
Thank you, caller.
Take care, Sandy.
Thank you, honey. Soka says, imagine if the roles were switched and the Nepalese man was the driver. Murder. Yeah, y'all would be screaming murder. That's right. There is a degree of like prejudiceness when it, like I said, it's certain people, Caymanians versus non-Caymanians and this sort of thing, right? Lucille, good morning, Miss Lucille. She says, Sandy, I'm sorry you have to talk about that poor guy's death. It have my whole body in pain for the family. Getting this news, every mother this morning should feel the pain. Well, listen to this, folks. By the way, shout out to Flo. We finally got our toll-free number. I think it's up and running. So if you're calling from a Flo number, your call is now toll-free. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. It's so sad that we have to discuss something of the magnitude of this, because this affects so many people, so many families. My condolences go out to the family of this young man.
And he's only 22 years old.
Yeah, and he just came here to try to make a life for him and his siblings at home or his family, and for somebody to go out and get drunk, because according to what the article said, she was drunk. I don't know. And she should have taken more responsibility than she did. Because the thing about it is, alcohol do not kill. Is like a gun. A gun don't kill. It's the person behind the trigger. But what I'm calling about is that we only heard whether or not this, the bike, did he have on a reflective jacket? Was he had on, what color clothes did he have on?
Well, we don't know any of that, but let me just say this again. None of that matters if she was intoxicated.
Yeah, but I do not drive on the road drunk. I'm not giving her right or not giving him. I've driven on this road and I've seen so many of these e-bikes on the roads, and they have they have just a barely little reflector. What they need to do is the company that's selling these should be forced to sell reflective jackets as well, and have proper lights put on these e-bikes.
Yeah. Well, he could have been lit up like a Christmas light. I mean, we don't have those details.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to take up for anyone, because I don't sugarcoat anything. How do we know it was not in he have to take some blame if that was the case. But it's sad.
That's where I'm gonna disagree with you. That's where I'm gonna disagree with you.
No life should be taken due to drinking.
All right, thank you. This is where I'm going to disagree. A victim in this kind of situation doesn't take some blame. To me, that's like saying that a woman was sexually assaulted because her skirt was a little bit too short. We have got to get out of this mentality. Now, someone just said he was wearing all black because he was wearing his uniform, his work uniform, right? If you are driving on a roadway, and I understand the point that Mr. Dexter is making, right? If you're at night, try to wear reflective clothing and all this kind of stuff. But to me, all of that is negated once we find out that she was drinking and driving. None of that matters. And so when you start to go into that conversation about what was he wearing, what was he doing, you go into the realm of victim blaming. It's the same thing with women. You know, we should live in a world where a woman should be able to walk around naked if she felt like it. But we don't live in that world. So people tell you, you know, wear clothes at least. Everyone has a different sense of morality, how long or short the skirt is. But we also know that some people make assumptions based on how you dress, like who you are. That may not be the case at all. But just keep that in the back of your mind. I understand that. But once a woman is raped, I'm not going to sit here and debate how high the shoes were, what was the skirt like? How did she have her makeup and hair? Because none of that matters. Put the blame squarely where it belongs. We can talk about road safety, generally speaking, and what everyone needs to be doing on these roadways. Agreed. But don't go into the realm of victim blaming on this 22-year-old young man who's now lost his life. Good morning, caller.
I'm sorry, I had to call back because I agree with you. And I do feel sympathy in some ways for the young lady because I know she feels terrible now that she's sober. But at the end of the day...
And by the way, I'm understanding she doesn't.
If she was drinking,
yeah.
It is her fault. He could have been lit up. He could have been lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
And more than likely, she would have still hit him if she was inebriated. When you drink, when you're drunk, you think you can drive, you think you're fine, which is why she insisted her keys back, but you're not. Your reaction time is slow.
Exactly.
So she could have saw him.
Yep.
She could have saw him lit up as a Christmas tree and still hit him. And I will come back to the same thing. Whoever gave her keys back is just as culpable, and they should feel just as bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is crazy. How do you take someone's keys knowing that they're drunk and then give them back to them? Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, someone said that her blood alcohol level was over 140 when she was tested. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing.
So it doesn't matter if he had on reflective gear or not.
Trust me.
She would have still hit him.
Exactly. Here's another factoid. When CPR was being performed on the poor victim, she jumped in her car and fled the scene. She was caught more than half a mile away at Batabanu Road. Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that again. For those of you who are thinking, oh, well, no, she fled the scene. Somebody's sitting there performing CPR on the guy, trying to keep him alive. She jumps in her vehicle, flees the scene, and was later caught at Batabanu Road. That makes sense because when I first heard about the accident, I heard that it actually happened on Batabanu Road. When it actually happened on the bypass, close to the vicinity of Georgetown Yacht Club. But that's why, because she left the scene and went to Batabanu Road. Blood alcohol level over 140 when she was tested. Oh my God. Somebody just sent me a picture of them performing CPR on him. Oh my God, no. Aww. Police officer doing CPR on this poor guy. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. Oh my God. Oh my God. But you see, I'm going to tell y'all something. These are the kind of videos y'all need to see. Y'all need a wake-up call. Young people need to see this. Stop. You know, young people are so disconnected from reality. They've never seen somebody take their last breath. That's why they don't have a conscience, some of them. That's why they're like, oh, whatever, they don't care. When you see someone getting chest compressions, like I've just looked at this video, this makes me want to bawl my eyes out. This is horrific. Yeah, the police officers, this person said that's when she fled. The police were trying to save him. And yet she gets in her car and drives away and tries to leave the scene of the accident. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Absolutely disgusting. The facts matter. And I want to talk about something else here. Let's talk about the party. Someone here just sent a message, and I was planning to get to this because I do think this is a fair point. Why is it that in the Cayman Islands, we don't have bars and restaurants that cut people off? It happens definitely in the US, because I remember there was a lawsuit many, many years ago where a bar was actually held responsible for the vehicular death of someone because they allowed someone to sit there and drink total inebriation, get behind the wheel of a car, and then go out there and take someone's life. So the family members sued, and they won the lawsuit that these bars and restaurants have some responsibility. I was actually sharing this story this weekend with a particular member of parliament because I think it warrants making the point. A number of years, this is way back in my Maples days, this is over 20 years ago. I went with a coworker to Miami. Now, if you guys know me, I don't really like to travel with people that I have to be really kind of close to people to travel because, child, I see y'all be trying too much stuff, drugs in the suitcases, hiding babies in the suitcase, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, nope, I'm not getting mixed up in anybody's foolishness. Family and one or two people I will travel with, and that's it. Because y'all ain't about to send me to no jail. So I was traveling with this coworker. She needed to go away and buy stuff for her kids. And I was going, she's like, oh, can I come with you? Because you drive in the States and blah, blah. I was like, all right, okay. We went to a place named Hops. I don't know if you guys remember Hops. I don't think the restaurant is around anymore. But they were they made their own beer. So in the middle of the restaurant, they had the big containers where they would brew their own beer and whatever. So that's hops, because the hops plant is what they ferment, to eventually get to a beer. And they had different types of house beers and whatever. But they had the best. Obviously, I wasn't there for the beer because I don't drink, but they had the best little appetizers that they give you these little croissants with this honey drizzle thing on the top. Yeah, I went for the food. I went for the appetizer. So we go and I'm like, oh yeah, this is Dadeland area. I'm like, let's go have lunch here, whatever. My friend could drink. She's not really my friend. She's an acquaintance, but she could drink, and she could drink a lot. A lot. I would say in the space of maybe half an hour, she had 5 or 6, maybe 7 beers. So the waitress came over and said, I'm sorry, but I have to cut you off. And she's like, why? I'm not drinking. I'm not driving. My friend here is driving. She's completely sober. And even showed her passport. I'm from the Cayman Islands. The waitress said, ma'am, I don't care. You've reached the limit for what we're allowed to serve any one person in such a short space of time. And I cannot serve you anymore. And I was taken aback because she really wasn't driving. I was, she doesn't even know how to drive in the States. And I was like, wow, that's good. I like the fact that they cut her off. There's a lot of people, like I said, who are drowning their sorrows and their life problems in alcohol. I'll never forget another instance with this young lady. And I'm not going to tell you too many details because I don't want you to think about who she is, because she's done remarkably well for herself. And hopefully she's gotten this weekend alcoholism out of her system. But there was another time when we were at a staff party for Maples. We were at Grand Ole House, and they basically, this was the after party, and they said, you guys got to go. It's too much. You're drinking too much. You got to go. Open free bars, Christmas time. Everybody wants to drink. And she was so intoxicated that I was like, listen, you can't go home to your kids in this state. I don't think they should see you like this, although I may have seen her like that before, but I'm like, I'm going to take you home with me. You're going home with me and you're going to sleep on the floor because, if you throw up or whatever, I don't want you gagging on your vomit, quite frankly. Don't worry, the dogs won't bother you. They're going to come upstairs with me and you just lie here and sober up. In the morning, I called the spouse. I said, she ain't coming home tonight. She's had one too many. In the morning, you'll go home. Hopefully you sobered up a little bit. When you get that drunk, something's wrong. I don't suspect that's normal. So some of you need to look at your drinking habits and perhaps have an honest conversation about what is it you're actually trying to drown with that amount of drinking. That's not just about partying and having a good time, right? Tell me that I'm wrong. It's in excess. And there's a lot of that happening here in Cayman. People drink way too much. And you're killing yourselves, whether you want to believe it or not. Now, the company, it's interesting that they told the staff, don't drink if you feel like you can't handle it. To me, that's one of the dumbest things. These are supposed to be lawyers, but that's one of the dumbest things I've actually ever heard. When someone starts to drink, their decision-making is thrown out the window. Mm-hmm. So you can't leave it up to them to decide if they are drunk or not. That don't make no sense. You can't say to them, use your good judgment to determine whether or not you can handle a motor vehicle, or if you've had too much to drink. It's like, come again? You're at a party, you're drinking. She's 24 years old. I would not have expected her to have the best judgment, even if she wasn't drinking. It's like, come on, Conyers. I'm saying that what y'all did really, in my mind, was throw these people out to the wolves and leave it up to them. And if there's any other law firms or any other companies that are doing this, your HR managers are listening this morning, please don't do this. How can you ask someone who is compromised? Drink can compromise your ability to make good decisions. How do you then ask them to make a good decision? What you do is you put a bus system in place, right? You take people's keys. You're not allowed to drink and drive. Get a breathalyzer machine. Everybody leaving your party, blow before you can get in your car. Otherwise, there's a bus. One's heading to West Bay. One's going to Eastern Districts and one is in Georgetown, circling around, taking people home. This man would still be alive today if somebody had thought about this a little bit more. The other thing is, somebody said to me, Sandy, a lot of these young people, they're literally living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, it's sad to think that if it's not payday, they don't even have money for cab fare. So you're asking them to find money to make a good decision. Okay, I'm too drunk to drive. Then find money for the cab fare, which they may or may not have, right? Get home safely in a cab, right? And then later on, you'll reimburse them for the cab fare. I think there needs to be a revision of this policy, especially for people who are supposed to be lawyers and supposed to be relatively smart. This person says not to take responsibility off of the young lady, and I agree entirely with you. She's an adult and made a very stupid decision, but I wonder if more accountability should be taken by the companies that have these staff parties, especially this time of the year. I agree. When open bar and unregulated distribution of alcohol, perhaps it's necessary for us to start considering protocols whereby as you enter the party, you surrender your keys to the attendant, i.e. the company social committee, if there is one. And when you're ready to leave, you're assessed for your ability to walk, drive, and have a coherent conversation. If you fail, then a cab is called for you. I also wonder how easy it would be to obtain a breathalyzer or request police presence at these big company parties where just the presence may be the deterrence needed for people to reconsider getting behind the wheel. It's very preemptive, so shouldn't be an issue for police to want to help prevent potential accidents. I agree with all of this, absolutely all of it. The companies could, I don't think necessarily there'd be anything wrong with them having a breathalyzer machine, but if people feel a way about that, tell the police. Conyers is having their party at Luca. Just come and sit right there. And as they pull out of the parking lot, breathalyze, test them. And I bet you would have made a few arrests that night. Something more has definitely got to be done. I think the company could have done more. And again, not displacing her decision-making, because if they took her keys, she has a responsibility. Now listen to this. People are listening this morning and they're sending me all sorts of information. One person talks about her lack of remorse, which I am shocked to hear. This person says, good morning. My God, it amazes me that people still don't get it, always finding excuses for the perpetrators. Let me find this other message here. Let me see here now. Where was that? So apparently someone made mention of the fact that she's not terribly remorseful after the fact, which, again, how incredibly sad is that? Unbelievable. Let me just see if I can find that message. My apologies. All right, it'll come to me here in a second. Let me see now. Somebody says, Beto, along with all those that liked his comment, are dummies. Conyers needs to STFU. They think someone impaired is going to make the best, to make the right decision, provide transportation for them. That one was closer to the roundabout coming from West Bay before the Kimpton. Yeah, the poor guy was on the road laying flat, crying and stopping the road. That was her fault. That was the one, the domestic helper. Someone's dad's made a comment that no matter whose fault, it's always the driver's fault. Made no sense, but that's what he said. Oh, here's the comment. He was only 22 years old, very sad. I have a friend that was drunk and I took her keys and her purse and she demanded I give them back to her. I did not. I called her friend and he came to pick her up. And she got caught 2 weeks ago with a DUI and lost her license for a year. She even wanted to fight me. I refused to give her keys back. I said, well, we're going to fight. I stood my ground because I said, you are drunk and I will not give you your keys back. Simple. And then this person says, I heard that she had no remorse for the accident. So this is the thing. Once people are intoxicated, they are stupid. Yes, I think we can all agree. I've seen intoxicated people yelling, got no sense. The sense goes out the window. Some people are really, really, really bad drunks. And they will get aggressive with you. They're going to fight you for those keys and the most. So this is why you don't wait until they are drunk to be like, okay, give me your keys. You need to, as a company, this is now at the company level, you have a protocol in place beforehand, right? Folks, this is how it's going to work. If you come to this staff party, we have a responsibility to make sure that you leave safely and you get home safely without killing yourself or killing somebody else. It's as simple as that. And so to make sure that that happens, if you decide to come, please know that you'll be surrendering your keys if you decide to drink at the party. We will have police stationed there. We will have buses available to transport you. So decide what you want to do beforehand or have a designated driver available to come and pick you up, because we will not allow you to leave this party with keys in hand and drive your vehicle. Some of y'all might want to think about even, maybe a bus system getting them to the party, like a safe ride bus. Something more has definitely got to be done. I'm very, very sorry for the family of this young man. I can't even imagine when they received the news how they must have felt. Now, listen to me now, If they got some good lawyers, y'all know, take a page out of the Americans' book, they'd be suing this law firm too. Because their policy leaves some gaps. All it takes is one good lawsuit and y'all wake up real fast. Then y'all can figure out policy. Let's talk about the 19-year-old. Less than 24 hours later, 19-year-old takes his own life at his own hands on the Newlands bypass. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Somebody is like, Sandy, the helicopter's up and something's going on at the Newlands bypass and we think it's another accident. I was like, what? Are y'all kidding me? I said, we just had a fatality last night. Yeah, but we think this one a fatality too. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this has got to be a joke, a bad one. I'm like, there's no way. It's not even 24 hours. They're like, yeah, well. Unbelievable. So this young man, again, waiting on all the final details to come out, but people who were at the scene said open alcohol in the vehicle. Now, I don't know who he is. This is one of the stranger cases in the sense that I knew he wasn't a Caymanian within half an hour. Because I'm like, if this was a Caymanian young man, we would know by now who he is. And y'all know how this works. Caymanians, very small community. Something happens to one of us, by gosh darn it, you know right away. So the fact that we had no fix on who he was, I thought, who is this young man? It's just so weird. Well, I understand his dad is actually a police officer. Oh my God. From Jamaica. And so now this young man, look at this mangled wreck. What exactly did he hit? Did he hit a light pole? I mean, they said that he was dead there was no arrival. He was literally deceased on impact. This killed him immediately. So I guess from that perspective, he didn't suffer. But look at what is that column that he hit? I'm trying to figure out what that is. Is that a wall? But look at the car. I mean, it's mangled. So unfortunately, he definitely was not walking away from this. This is some footage here that we have from the scene of the accident that night. Really, really shocking. Allegedly open alcohol bottle in the vehicle. Looks like it almost tore. They had to, I understand they actually had to cut him out of the vehicle. It was such a mangled mess to just get the body out. So that's it. He's gone. Luckily, he didn't hit. I said luckily, of course, condolences his family, but these young people are making decisions. Again, 19 years old. He shouldn't be drinking. Definitely not drinking and driving. His brain isn't developed. He's making poor decisions. And so there you have it. Another life gone. Everybody, by all accounts, says, oh, he was such a nice young man. I'm sure he was. Unfortunately, being a nice person doesn't really matter at a time like this. If you have made a poor decision that has put you, in a predicament like this, you will lose your life and you could potentially take somebody else's life as well. And so that is beyond just beyond sad. My sources said that the young man worked at Napa here in Savannah, and he was 19. Seems to have liked cars because we did see a couple pictures with him like posing in front of, cars. And what young person doesn't? I mean, listen, you're young, you're into fast cars, you're into, we get it as adults. We've all been there. And that's why, there has to be some controls put in place when it comes to helping these young people navigate through their youth. We gotta help them stay alive, to be quite frank and honest. It just, constant reminders, I feel like, as well, on how to make better decisions. Here he is. Very petite looking fella. Doesn't have much muscle mass, unfortunately, but nothing probably would have saved him from that accident, to be quite frank and honest. So now, some parent has to bury this young man. Ay, what a mess. Gabby says, I hope the ones that are making excuses feel stupid. Oh, really? Really? No, now let's hear the lack of remorse. Good morning, Miss Lizette. Miss Yolene Blackberry says, for some reason, it's about drowning sorrows. For some, it's about the high, the feeling of invincibility. For others, it's simply because they like the taste or the socialize. So some people drink to socialize. I don't know. Shaka Zulu says, to add to your point, Auntie Sandy, a lot of this could be avoided by allowing ride sharing in Cayman. Yeah, I mean, but listen, there's no excuse for it, even without ride sharing, because you can call a taxi and share the ride. I mean, listen, if I live West Bay and my girlfriend lives West Bay, another girlfriend lives West Bay, the three of us could have gotten together and split a taxi ride. Because it's the same fee. We're just going to split it by 3. So you can arrange that. But like I said, at that point, when you're already drunk, you're not in the best frame of mind to start thinking, well, who else lives in West Bay? Who else can I get a ride with? And so on. So, at that point, it's too late. It's too late, unfortunately, to make a good decision. What a mess. Deanna says Cayman has nothing for young kids to do, so they become idle and get into problems. Cayman forces kids to grow up way too fast. There's such a sad situation. My condolences to his friends and family. Well, I actually think the opposite is true. Cayman does not force people to grow up. But this is one of the ills of youthfulness, is young people make really poor decisions. And sometimes they do feel like they're invincible. And, they think that they can drink and drive. At the age of 19, you don't have a whole lot of driving experience. One little mistake and you're running into a pole. And add to that probably speeding and other things as well. And it's just a really, really sad situation. KK says both of the young men at Napa were very helpful and very informative. Condolences to his Napa family and his relatives. Kilwani says, OMG, rest in peace. He was so helpful. I went to Napa last month and he was excellent. Customer service, sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was a fine young man otherwise, but the truth of the matter is, it only takes one decision to change the course of your entire life, and not in a good way. El Rey says, I believe when it's your time, there's nothing that can prevent it. And also when it's not your time, there's still nothing that will enable it. Law of life. I don't know that I believe that, El Rey. I think there are things that we do every day that can prolong our life. And there are things that we do that can make our lives that much shorter. And I know what you're saying. Well, that just means that it's your time. I'm not so sure. I think that, a lot of decisions are up to you. You can, listen, if I go outside right now and get in the middle of the road and a car hits me and I die, was it really my time? Or was I just stupid? You know what I mean? It's like, I think you can hasten your exit. I guess that's like that, what's that movie, Final Destination? No matter what you do, death is chasing you. What a mess. Shaka says, as a single person going out, ride sharing works wonders, Auntie Sandy, getting to and from the event. And also there is an element of, especially for women, of safety. Like sometimes they don't want to call a taxi because then they're vulnerable. And we've had allegations of taxi drivers here, sexually assaulting women and stuff like that. So again, companies think about these things, think about how your young female coworkers might be feeling and try to figure it out. So, yeah, it's a sad situation. Anyway, someone says, so incredibly saddened by his passing. The AA 345 signs on the road might need to be clearer also in their meaning. Arrive alive 345 signs. Yeah. All right. We have a driver's license that has been found for a young man who is from Peru. Gonzalo, let me see, Segunda apellido, that's his second name. Nombres, I guess that's the first name. Gonzalo Alonso, second name. It's so interesting how they have the license there. The segundo apellido, and then the primer apellido, which would be like the first last name. So Gonzalo Alonso, prenombres, Pacheco Prado, masculino. If you know him, they put your marital status on here. Estado civil. Is that divorce? Divorciado? That's divorce, right? On your license? They say if you're divorced? So what happens if you get divorced and you're married in the same year before your license is up? Anywho, your license has been found for your Peru. Your national, it's not a license. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly. It's the registro nacional de identificación y estado civil. So this is Documento Nacional de Identidad DNI. So this is his national ID registration, and estado civil documento. Estado is like United civil document, national civil document of identification. Anyway, like their national ID card has been found. All right, Gonzalo, let us know how we can get you your license back. All right, he hit the wall by the park. Oh, wow. Okay, what a mess. This person says, good morning. Giving each person 2 drink tickets is also an option. I've worked for a large firm, and it goes without saying that they spare no expense on celebratory events. But I've seen males and females become so intoxicated that they fall flat on their face and or need to physically get into a taxi. There has to be some level of culpability with these organizations in terms of the amount of alcohol they allow their employees to consume. Hello. Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. All right. Somebody call me and tell me to fix my camera. My apologies. It has this AI finger thing. So sometimes if I move my hands in a particular way, it zooms in. All right. Okay, so this person was saying there's nothing wrong with taking a paternalistic approach in situations such as these. Now the law firm faces a level of public scrutiny that could harm their reputation. Otherwise, she needs to spend her life in jail. This ain't Kim and Brack, where you can run over someone, kill them, and get away with it. Well, the truth of the matter is she'll get a slap on the wrist for what she's done. And not just her, but this is an area that we need to make some adjustments in terms of the prison sentence that you will actually get. So, good morning, Sandy. These people keep because they're saying They have problems, but after that drinking is done, the darn problems are still there. So why drink because of the problems and causing more problems? Heard that young lady didn't even take care of her children. She just don't want to have any responsibility, want to look good. Okay, he hit the park in that area wall. He came to Cayman at a young age because he went to primary school and high school here. Very, very sad. This person said, but Sandra, from what I understand from a friend that works at Conyers, the woman who killed the other woman after she left the Christmas party. What other woman? Conyers had sent an email out to the party goers. She killed a guy. Are we talking about the same one? Conyers had sent an email to the party goers that they're going to drink, but take a taxi. Yeah, we said that already. I said all of that, and that they would reimburse the taxi fee. Apparently at the party, the woman gave over her keys and was being belligerent with Conyers at the Christmas event and refused to take a taxi. You can have taxis and ride sharing in place, but you still have individuals who insist on being a risk to themselves and others. Listen to me. I said all of that already, that they told them they did send out notice about the taxi situation, blah, 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 and they'll reimburse you later. Listen, I don't care how belligerent she was, what they should have done. So if she insisted on having her keys back, they should have called 911. The police would have come and taken her home, given her free escort home, or taken her to jail. Okay? So you don't give an intoxicated person just because, like I said, some intoxicated people are stupid. They're stupid drunks. They're rude. They're belligerent. They'll cuss. They'll fight. They'll go on. Even more reason for you to call the police. No sympathy for her poor decision making. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. Quick question for you. Was she given the charges already, or?
No, so I think they're still investigating. So she's been arrested on suspicion of
right, under the influence of alcohol, which it can't be suspicion if you blow 140. That's the half the bar. One of the things that I was saying to you, what you mentioned about police officers being there, now that's going to be, a lot of people might come back and say that's taking resources from police officers being on the road, lack thereof, but one of the things that a lot of police officers do in overtime, if they have a day off, like if you see police officers up at the airport, they're basically doing their overtime on their day off. So that can be in hand where the police officers be at an event. Because if you have 5 events at one night, that means you're taking resources from off the road from them doing other duties. You get what I'm saying?
I understand, but I mean, they got to be on the road anyway. I mean, that's why we have a traffic unit.
Right. Right. And then the other thing is, when you're talking about, giving them, the gentleman said about giving them 2 tickets, there's a lot of times that you go to parties and for you that don't drink, you're going to have those 2 tickets anyway, and you're going to give them to somebody that does drink. You know what I mean? So it's kind of irresponsible for her to go have an accident and then leave the accident, leave the scene of the crime. So now, more than likely, she's going to be charged. I would like to find out if she was charged for leaving death by dangerous driving, and then leaving the scene of an accident.
Well, she should be at least facing those 2 charges, I would think.
Right. But one of the things that I realized with Cayman, and I'll let you go at this, people who will get charged for firearms gets more time than people that charge for death by dangerous driving, which I don't think it should be called death by dangerous driving. It should be called what it is, which is vehicular manslaughter. But because, we, in the United States, they call it, vehicle manslaughter. And if you lose control, you get 3 to 14 years. If you drive a vehicle recklessly, and for some reason you drive off or fell asleep, and that's 3 to 14 years. And if you look at it, if you're under the influence of alcohol, you get 12 to 24 years. Right? But here you get 5 to 6 years, and then you come back out and you get back your life, and everything else is hunky-dory.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And that's the sad part. People are getting higher for less, for lesser crimes. They're getting a higher prison sentence. So something has to be worked out. But anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, folks. It's a very, very incredibly sad situation and consequences all the way around now. So if she's not remorseful, you know, I'm sure by the time she gets to church, by the time she gets to court, she will have a song and dance story about how she's so sorry. And, you know, she's got young kids. Oh, please don't send me to jail. I'm going to be away from my kids. She should have thought about all those things beforehand. Someone indicated that she was actually also on the phone at the time of the accident, and her car windows and front glass are tinted so dark as you get in, so seeing out at night is hard. And she was on the phone as well. Wow. What a disaster. All right, let's move on. Speaking of other people making very, very poor decisions with their lives, let's talk about this bigamy case. Wow, wow, and wow. We're going to talk about Poinsiana, but this one breaking yesterday was a shocker. So, a pilot, this isn't the first pilot actually to do something like this, believe it or not, decides to get married more than once to two different people. Well, the laws of this country, I don't know about any other country, don't allow you to marry two people when you're still married to one of them, not at the same time. So you got to do something called a divorce. You know what I'm saying? William Bodden. My gosh, William. What on earth were you thinking? I mean, oh, Jesus. Talk about making decisions that will change your life and not for the better. You guys know William. Handsome fella from West Bay. Oh, man, I tell you. When I saw this, let me tell you how it went down. On Sunday, he was coming to Cayman, coming through the airport. You know, CMR got the sauce. Apparently, his Caymanian wife got wind of this marriage, knew exactly what had gone down, honey chow. He decides to come back. There he is. William, the pilot. Wasn't he a captain, or he just got captain status or something before he left? And he went to Dubai to work. So, you know, we've had a mass exodus of Cayman pilots who have left Cayman Airways. And a lot of them go to Dubai because they say Dubai offers a really good package. They get really great benefits. Like, you know, they pay for the kids to be in school and all sorts of stuff, right? Living the good life in Dubai. And I guess the salary is really, really good. So, here now we have a young man who goes over to Dubai, meets a Korean coworker, and yes, starts having relations. And apparently she got pregnant, and they have some rule in Dubai. I guess you can't be pregnant in their country without being married. He arranged for his cousin. Which cousin was this that was so stupid? So apparently she actually went to the States at some point, and then the cousin decides to go marry her. So I guess she could go back to Dubai and say, oh yeah, I'm married, you know, got a baby on the way, whatever. You know, they're very strict over there, honey child. Y'all not gonna be having no unwedlock children around them. You better find a husband or something. So he set up his cousin to go and marry her. Wow, your cousin riding hard for you, boy. I mean, I can't think of no family member that I'd be doing no sham marriage for. Anyway, they continue, and I understand he actually has 2 children with her now. They continue this relationship. And he then leaves Dubai. The whole time the wife is planning to move to Dubai. I think COVID must have hit. Then he decided to go to the States. And then she's like, okay, yep, I'll come to the States. You know, sometimes when you have a spouse that goes ahead of you for a job opportunity, it takes a while to pick up your life. Like, you got to figure it out. Like, okay, I'm going to Dubai. What am I going to do there? How am I going to work? You know, we got to figure out stuff with the kids. Like, we don't want to move them during the school year necessarily. Maybe I come in the summer, you know. So there's a lot of logical reasons why you might maintain a dual household when one party has what should have been an amazing opportunity to live abroad and to work abroad. Wow, William. I mean, the problem is you can't live this double life, right? And think that nobody's going to find out about it. The irony of it is he's not the only Cayman Airways pilot that has ever done this. He's no longer with Cayman Airways, but there is a very, very famous story of another pilot who did it many, many years ago. And I remember this one, honey child. And I can't remember the technicality why he did not get charged. There was something kind of strange about it. But yes, he was still married to his Caymanian wife right here in the Cayman Islands. And he turned around and went and married her best friend. That was the story that's the part of the story that to me was like, what? You married her best friend? He doesn't even marry a stranger. He marries her best friend right in Miami. And these people be living a double life, honey child. They got the family here, the family in the States, and all over the place. So he got married to this woman, you know, keeping the house there. The poor wife, I understand, until she found out, was still like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm moving to be with William. William had moved on with his life. So he came in on Sunday on the flight and they had a stop order in place. I'm surprised he didn't know. This is good. Let me tell y'all something. This is some good detective work here, boy. This is CMR worthy that they were able to keep that under wraps. Thank you, Jesus. So yeah, he came in and they nabbed him. So he was in police custody since Sunday and he went to court yesterday. So his lawyer, here's the irony of it, Prathna Bodden. Big shout out to Prathna. Good for you, girl. You be getting yourself some clients. Too bad they're not all honest. But, you know, the lawyer tries to argue that, oh, he's not a flight risk. Child, please. Really? He's a pilot. He's as good as a flight risk as you can imagine. So he can't go by any airports. If you see him within any feet of the port, make sure you call 911. Denied his bail. The lawyer said denying his bail would cause serious repercussions, including the loss of his job, homes in Florida and the Cayman Islands, and his ability to support his child. She emphasized that Bodden was not a flight risk, as he frequently visited his family in the Cayman Islands. Moreover, she highlighted that he and his Caymanian wife had been separated since his move to Dubai. Well, apparently that's a lie. Maybe that's what he told her, but I have verified and double-checked my sources, and that is a lie. She was even planning, but since he moved Miami, the States, she was even planning to move there with him. So that's a lie, honey child. That's not true. Your client not telling you the truth. So the judge denied his bail, deeming him a flight risk, because she said he's got an established life in the U.S. So yeah, she's not so sure about the fact that he's not a flight risk. So he surrendered his passport, refrained from applying for new travel documents, can't be anywhere near any airport or any port of entry, really, because even a ship is a port of entry. This to me is just so dumb. So dumb. I don't get it. You know, apparently there was some sort of information that, I'm sorry, there's some information out there that he was even struggling to support his children here that he has because of this double life. It costs money to have 2 wives, just in case y'all never got that memo. Women are expensive. Families are expensive. Kids are expensive to maintain, not just in Cayman. So he's got 2 now with this Korean woman. I guess she's South Korean. That's the 2 latest ones. He's got older children. He got some children with the wife. And yeah. Nosa. El Rey says Dubai equals 7 wives. Well, he wasn't living in Dubai and marrying them there. So yeah, problem. Tony says cousin is either an idiot or very well paid, laughing out loud. I'm willing to bet the former. Because I'm sorry, honey child, you're not getting me to marry nobody. This is a sham marriage. Tweeny Foss says women are overrated. Okay. Suzette says, El Rey, you're not going to be that lucky. Does a pilot need a passport to flee if they wanted to? Tony. Yes, unless he's flying the plane. And his airline does not fly to Cayman, so he has to come in on a different carrier. So this is pretty wild. I don't know, William. You don't get any sympathy from me. I mean, come on. The thing about it is he's not a bad looking guy. You know, he's a nice looking guy, whatever. But dude, if you get married to somebody, do y'all not take these commitments seriously anymore? Man. Caymanians are putting us on the map all over the world for all the wrong reasons. And here's one that's going to go down in the record books. So just the other day, we were talking about the Filipino lady. Remember her? Thanks to CMR, honey child. She got some charges and sentenced in that case for bigamy as well. So she got a couple months in jail. So he's looking at jail time, probably similar to that, a couple months. And then, unfortunately, the sad part about this is his job as a professional pilot his career could very well now be over, which really sucks for him. Because what else is he going to do? I mean, doesn't sound like he's been saving his money and he's got all these mouths to feed, all these children to support. But now you got a bigamy charge, son. So, I mean, you can survive Cayman jail. That's a walk in the park. Those guys out there probably fawning at your feet. That's not the hard part. The hard part is going to be, how do you recover from this? How do you pick up your life? That airline in Florida now, wherever the heck they are, they're going to be firing you, Bobo. And Cayman Airways is not looking at you like, no, honey child, you left us. We're not got a job for no bigamist. Tony says after his jail time, does he get a free divorce? No, he's got to pay for it. But listen, his lawyer Prathna can help him with that. She can apply for the divorce. Here's the funny thing. I understand that she actually attended the wedding, his Cayman wedding. She was a guest at that wedding. So these people know the man married. And this is one of those things, it's kind of a strict liability offense. You don't need to have intended to do it, but it seems like he had put a lot of effort and time into living this double life. So definitely the intent was there to deceive everybody, including the wife. Wow. Damn. Boy, I don't know. El Rey says, why is bigamy such a big deal? Because you're only allowed to have one wife at a time in this part of the world. There are other places where it is legal to have more than one wife, but that, he's married in Cayman. Second he stepped foot, they're waiting on him, honey child. They're like, oh, come back home, Bobo. Come back home. The kids want to see you. Come for Christmas. Oh, yeah, he was fooled. And he sure did get on that plane and kaboom! That was it. So he has one child with a Caymanian wife, but didn't he have kids from before her? How many before her? And this is so bad because, this makes everybody look bad. The wife shouldn't be carrying this shame for sure. This is not her burden. Please, wife, don't you worry about it. This is all on him. I really was surprised when I saw that. He had so much to say about Ireland The reason Arlen didn't get charged was I dropped the charges against him because of my kids. Oh, oops. Oh, I thought it was something else. Oh, so you didn't pursue it. Yes, I remember that case, honey child. That's how you and I first started talking, because you started telling me that case and I was flabbergasted. I'm like, who gets married to the wife's best friend when you're married to I was like, what? And that woman actually married him? Oh my God. Listen, Cayman is like the wild, wild west, you know. Y'all are next level, yo. Y'all are next level. I'm sorry, but no, sir. I don't know what to say with y'all. There's just something in the water that makes y'all real stupid. Good Lord. Well, El Rey and others, the law is the law, and it is intended to be followed by everyone. So you don't get to decide how many wives you're going to have in a jurisdiction that only legally allows you to have the one. Now, there are stories about people who, you know, they want to be in a relationship with more than one person, and some of the wives don't seem to mind it. So they have like a live-in, and I put this in quotation, second wife, because they don't legally marry them. So I guess sister wives, y'all can do that arrangement, but you can't legally go and marry them, even in another jurisdiction, if you have a valid marriage in the Cayman Islands. What a mess. Gosh, William, I don't know what to say. Oh, honey, chill. Carib guy says if his cousin was married to the Korean woman, how can they charge him with bigamy? Okay. So apparently him and the Korean woman dissolved that marriage. That was just a temporary situation. So my understanding is they were no longer married. Then he turned around, but it would still be bigamy. It's almost like a double bigamy. I guess she would have also committed bigamy, because then she'd be marrying twice. Right? But he still married her. And so he would have still had a marriage license. And did the cousin married her in the States as well, from what I understand. So it's a mess. And now the USA is onto her because she was like basically kind of overstaying or whatever. So then she left, went out of the country and came right back after a couple of days or something really weird. And they're like, no. You can't do that. That's not what we mean. So I think she might now be deported back to Korea. And I don't know what kind of job she's going to have over there or whatever. But Sha, you probably should have done some research before you got married for this married man. I mean, got pregnant for this married man and then married him. You're going to be raising them babies by yourself in Korea. And they don't tend to really like half breeds as much, you know. I'm sorry to say, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Asian countries are not too fond of, like, in their countries, if you're half Black, half Asian, you put up with a lot. I've seen YouTube channels about it. Not that I know firsthand. I'm just saying. That, if we had a hot mess barometer and 5 was like sizzling, that's definitely a 4.5. That's like pretty hot. Work it out. Spend your time in jail. At least you're not in jail somewhere else like Dubai. And I guess you'll be all right in the end. I don't know. Poor kids. What a hot mess. Cayman Airways has no vacancies. Sorry, Bobo. Oh, yes. And here's another tidbit. Yeah, she was a flight attendant for the airline that he flew for. You see, pilots and flight attendants, y'all need to stop this commingling. I get it. You're on that plane with them. You know, Dubai probably did the long hauls. You know, you're going from this place and 15-hour flights or whatever. I don't know what flight he was doing, but, you know, you see this person at work. Work relationships happen a lot. You see this person at work in their little tighty stewardess uniform. They start to look good, honey child. You forget all about your wife after 2 weeks in Dubai. You live in a good single life. And your poor wife here working supporting the kid, holding on to fort, and you out there fornicating with stewardess. Mm-hmm. And then she was stupid enough to get pregnant. My God, have y'all not heard of birth control? This person says, Mile High Club is a real thing, my girl. Yes, sir. Take that. The theme for this morning's show is poor decision making. For real, right? Lord Jesus. You know what? Oh, my God. All right, William, good luck to you. He must be eating the turtle cock soup. They don't have that in turtle, do they? Oh, wait, does the cock soup give you energy? No, sir. Anywho, my God, Lord Jesus, take the bus from us, please. The bus is running right over the cliff. Tony says, who does that? A best friend who knows the wife is in on it, immigration benefits. Then the wife gets upset and snitches because the husband's consummating the marriage a bit too much. Laughing out loud, deal breaker. Huh? Tony, you lost me. A best friend who knows the wife is in on it. Say what? They stay at the same hotel, not helping, says Joyce Ann. Yeah, listen, pilots have a reputation. They're as bad as prison officers in Cayman and police officers. They all have a bad reputation. Oh my gosh. All right. Speaking of bad reputations, can we talk about this case? I meant to talk about it last week, and then McKeeva's drunken rant came in, which, by the way, for the record, he denies, he wasn't drunk. He was out there helping people in the community. He did this whole post with a bunch of lies. That man is so delusional. There is something not tickety-ticking right with McKeeva Bush. I'm sorry. He lives in a whole other world. Somebody called me this weekend and tell me how he's trying to hire his, some cousin of his, she's like family, to work in the office, 20-something years old, because he's carrying on with her. I said, why would this be news? Why would anybody be surprised? If that is true, why would anybody be surprised? But Sandy, she family to him, their cousin. I said, why would you be surprised? We're talking at McKeeva Bush. We're talking about him. Nothing he does anymore surprises me. If y'all come and tell me he fornicating with the lady next door who's 150, I'd be like, okay. Nothing with this man is a surprise anymore. He is the definition. You look up bad behavior, can't behave themselves, any kind of thing in the book, drunkard, fornicating, fool, his picture's right there smiling in the dictionary. Lord Jesus. Anyway, he was permitted yesterday to give a speech at Poinsiana Point. Let's talk about Poinsiana tomorrow, because we don't have a whole lot of time left. And I do want to talk about it. And I want to go over his speech, because that man is feisty and he's rude. And Juliana was sitting there in the audience claiming to have a sore throat. So that's why she couldn't speak, because she can't hurt her little throat, So she's sitting there letting everybody else, the deputy premier, big shout out to Kenneth. He was the only sensible one up on the platform. The others were there being rude and trying to throw people under the bus. John even brought to tears because, his father has mental health issues. And so, this is such a special day because, my father died and he could have, honey child, if you'd done your job, the Senate would have been open from 4 years ago. And, whatever. We're not buying the crocodile tears. Save it for something else. These guys are so pretentious. All right. Let's talk about this case in court. So remember the woman who, she was actually acquitted last week. She was in court for supposedly going into the RMS system to look up this woman who her man was also checking. Oh, Lord. What's her name again? Oh, Lord Jesus. Hold on a second. I need to look up my notes for this one because this is a hot mess and then some. So I hate to tell y'all, but there's some people, honey child, who just should not be trusted. Okay? Now listen carefully. Jamaican men, they have a reputation. And I don't care what y'all say. They have a reputation. It's kind of hard. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this is probably true, not just of Jamaican men, but Caribbean men in general. Y'all are the worst when it comes to cheating and carrying on with your scandalous behavior. Maybe it's just human beings, but y'all really act out in the worst kind of way. So, seems to me that she was seeing this guy, and apparently he was also seeing somebody else at the same time. Mm-hmm. He was a prison officer, and his side chick was also a prison officer. He was not married. That doesn't mean he's not single, because obviously he's in a relationship with other people. But she was actually married, the female prison officer. So then he starts to check a female police officer. I'm trying to find my notes because this story gets a little bit confusing. Okay? So the two of them are dating, and then the prison officer, she comes forward and she's like, oh, you're dating my man, although I'm married. It's like, oh, you got a man, but you're married? Say what? Okay, this is how this is the whole flex that's happening at prison. All right, I got my notes. I found my notes, honey child. Because I was going to say, this story is just too confusing for me. All right, Tamika Young. She works at the prison. We got her here on scholarship and all kind of stuff, giving her all kind of good jobs, honey child. Yeah. And so Tamika is married with children, and she starts dating let me try and find her picture. I'm going to show you who these people are, honey child, because y'all need to know. She starts dating another prison officer. Yes, they're both prison officers at the time. Anyway, they start dating, and they're going out, and they're like doing the most on the down low. And she then finds out that he's dating this other lady. I'll tell you, the story is confusing. It's hella confusing. Who then she later accuses of going into the police RMS system to look her up. So that lady's name, hold on a second now. What's her name again? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Ugh. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. She was just acquitted last week. Hold on. Let me get her picture for you. Mm-hmm. I can't remember her name now. But anyway, she was then accused of basically misusing, because she's a police officer, of misusing the RMS system to be able to look up information, I guess, on this woman. Well, the jury didn't believe the prosecution case, and I'll tell you some of the reasons why that probably happened. All right, so, oh yes, the man's name. Oh, I got this just for y'all, It just takes a minute because there's so many parties involved here. The man's name is, hold on. Mm-hmm. His name is O'Neal Smith. Yeah, he lives in the gym. So you gym rats that, y'all like to go to the gym and hang out with gym people, I'm going to warn you to be careful of this one, because, honey child, you might find yourself in a relationship with a man that already has, another woman. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah, here he is. I got him. Hold on. I'm trying to find these people. I'm like, where the heck are they? So now he's a registered nurse, by the way. What a conundrum. Oh, people at the hospital, y'all be careful with him. Next thing you know, he be getting you embroiled in a situation. Yes. Let's take a look at O'Neill. Talk about a sauce. What a thing. All right. So this is O'Neill here. Like I said, now he's an RN. He went from being a prison officer to an RN. Well, good for him for prioritizing his education. So there he is. Lives in the gym. Look at him good. Because when y'all go gym and work out now, y'all need to be careful. All right. So there, he's the man that these two women were fawning over and I guess fighting over. The female officer who ended up in court is Karen Watson. Hold on, let me get her picture. I think she spells her name a little bit differently. Hold on, let me see if I can find her. So she ends up in a relationship with this guy. Oh yes, here she is. All right. So she was acquitted. And then Tamika finds out that the two of them are dating. And Tamika's like, wait a minute, what's going on? You're dating my man. I don't know. How does this work? How are you married? And then you have a side piece, but yet you're claiming that you're upset because they have another side piece? I'm not so sure you get to claim them because you're married. So I'm like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense, but that's exactly what was going on here. So Tamika got all upset, actually approached the woman about, oh, you're dating O'Neill. That's my man. And she's like, oh, really? I didn't know he had anybody. So they actually had a conversation at one point. They talked about it. And he claims that, no, he's not dating her. She's unstable. She's lying. She's this, she's that. Because you know these men, honey child. If one thing they can do, they can lie to you now. A lot of them. Nothing but the WHO, you know what, and liars. Straight up liars, honey child. So of course he was lying through his teeth about, no, he's not in a relationship with her. He's single. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what she's talking about. This ain't him. Da-da-da-da. Well, lo and behold, he's a liar, not a good person. What a mess. So a couple of things came out during the trial that were actually quite interesting. Number one, it took the police a really, really long time to do anything about this case. You know, they had this woman, I think, on leave for something like 2 years. They were dropping the ball. They were dragging their feet. The whole time had her suspended. They weren't really that interested in trying to forward the matter. You know, kind of had her in limbo, but there she is. So that's her. And I'm trying to find the other lady too, because I know I have the other lady's picture. Hold on. Let me go back to my pictures. I'm going to show y'all her. Because this is one hell of a mix-up story. Yes, sir. Let me see here now. So, all right, while I'm looking for the picture, let me tell y'all a few more details about it. So, 2018, the girlfriend, let's call Tamika, who's a prison officer, girlfriend number one. Let's call, what's her name? Police Sergeant Karen Watson, girlfriend number two. So girlfriend number one, who remember now she's married with kids, works at the prison with O'Neill Smith, found some receipts for a mattress. That's how she got wind of the fact that he's with this other woman. Like, why are you buying a mattress? Where are you buying it for? We are laying down on a new mattress when I come over to your house. So she found a receipt for a mattress, and that's how she discovered that he had another woman. I think that's how it was discovered, yeah? So then he convinced girlfriend number two, which is the sergeant, Karen Watson, that, oh, there's nothing there. You know, they're just friends or coworkers, and she's trying to make something, whatever. Here's some of the additional source. Tamika Young at some point has a police report against her. And this becomes important to the defense case because there would have been a reason, they say, for Sergeant Karen Watson to look her up. And the way in which she looked her up meant that she didn't just do a blind search by name. She did a search by the RMS number. So someone gave her the report number, and this could have been the reason why years later, she doesn't remember all the details, but this is the likely reason why she was given this RMS number, because she did it all the time. She does it all the time. So DPP's office called, here's an RMS number. Can you pull this report for us? Yada, yada, yada. So their argument is like, this isn't anything unusual. And the way in which it was done indicates that she wasn't just blindly searching for this woman who the prosecution alleged that she was searching for because, that is her rival, her nemesis, whatever. The defense said, no, that's not what this was. So apparently her teenage son, girlfriend number one, prison officer, had called the police on her. There was some sort of a domestic incident. So she was in the system for a domestic report related to her own teenage son. Something went down, whatever. Okay? All right, keep that in mind. We're circling around. So, 2019, Tamika Young, prison officer, girlfriend number one, married, goes off to the UK on a scholarship. Yeah, we sent her off to the UK to train her. All right. So when I think she must have, I don't know about this part, but of why she was in quarantine. But anyway, when she was in quarantine, Karen then finds out that they were still seeing each other. And apparently the parties had a 22-second phone call. Said, hey, are you seeing her? Whatever. Now there's a mix-up story here with somebody who worked at Digicel. Kevin Jennings. Remember Kevin? He's her friend. Can't believe Kevin got all mixed up in this and ended up losing his job. So he said, he becomes a state witness and said that Karen, who's his friend, Police Sergeant Karen, called him in April of 2020 and asked him to check out 2 numbers, but he ends up checking out 3 numbers. She denies that. That was his version of the story. She said that that was not true. And then it even went as far as saying that, that didn't make any sense because in April 2020, the country was in lockdown and that couldn't have happened the way that he was saying, because he claims that, she came into the Digicel office, had a word with him and asked him that. But then the defense attorney was like, hold on, Amelia bringing out the full source. She's like, hold on a second. How can that be when the country was in lockdown? The Digicel would have been open. She couldn't have come to you. This could not have happened the way in which you claim that it happened. What a mess. So what we surmise is that because they were friends, sometimes you're dating a guy, he's giving you some problems, honey child, and you start to tell your friend about the situation. So, Karen was probably like, this guy, I don't know how to trust him, whatever. So the defense alleges that Kevin took it upon himself to try to look people up and do some scoping out. That she didn't request it. She didn't go into Digicel office as he claims. But he was actually arrested. Listen to this, Sos. He was arrested and the police made, the coincidence of it all is very, very interesting. Okay? Because the day that they dropped the charges against him, so he was arrested for making a data breach, arrested and charged, not just arrested, but arrested and charged. Prathna Bodden, his lawyer, wrote to the police. They had conversations, and conveniently, his charges were dropped. And a few days later, he became a DPP witness. So there's a big question mark. Kevin turned state witness for the DPP's office against Karen, and the prosecution says made up a story against her and trying to implicate her when that wasn't so, when it was him being snoopy and, looking stuff up for himself. But in order to not be charged, he turned state witness. What a mess. Anywho, let's go on. So then, the story gets even more combobulated, all mixed up. So, Tamika and this officer were seen coming to court together in a vehicle while she was given testimony. Now, there's very, very strict rules, folks, about witnesses not commingling. Like, you can't be sharing your testimony and all that kind of stuff. But guess what? They don't care. And when they were asked about it, because, they took the stand, whatever, they were asked about it. You know what she said? This is shocking. What he said. I'm going to show you the other woman now. He said that they were praying. Who's her husband, by the way? Husband, please come get your wife. Because she's out in these streets doing the most. And I understand that allegedly, this man is not the only officer she's been checking. She's all over the place. She's the doorknob that they're turning at the prison. All them other prison officers out there fornicating with her child. You better go check your wife. Because her name is out in these prison streets. Saying that she not easy. You need to dig into her a little bit longer. So I don't know what the husband does, but husband, pay attention to your wife. They all admitted at least to being in a relationship with O'Neal Smith. Where does he work? HSA now? What a hot mess. So Kevin becomes defense witness. They decide to charge Karen for 2 years, no investigation, until some guy, Peter Dean, comes along with the RCAPS, and then he revs it up. And they don't call her and ask her, what were you doing in the system? None of that. They just brought her to court, and there you go. So Smith, the man, claims that him and this woman, here he is, were driving to court. He was giving her a ride to court while she's still giving testimony. This is the kind of foolishness that you should not be seeing. Now, there were people who could say different aspects of the story. Things were just not, the puzzle pieces were not coming together for the defense case. And one of the things that was interesting is Angelique McLaughlin, who's a former police and her supervisor, spoke about, no, this was something she did all the time in terms of like looking in the system for people. She wouldn't automatically have an RMS number. Someone would have had to have given her that number in order for her to be able to look it up in the system. And she did. There was an audit trail, as these systems have, of her looking it up on 6 different occasions. And she looked, I think there's one instance where she didn't look by name, but all the others or whatever, she looked it up by the actual number. And so it didn't make any sense that it was her just snooping around on this woman to try to find out whatever about her. Anyway, she was found not guilty by a juror of 6 people after a lengthy trial. Wow. What a mess. So there you have it. El Rey says dig into her. Gabby says that's how they do it. Offer the smaller fish a deal to get the bigger fish. They don't watch for the first 48, laughing out loud. Morning, God of Egypt. David is in the house. Good morning, David. Marshall says this sounds like the Jamaica sauce. Trust me, it had my brain hurting just now. Anybody else's brain was hurting? My brain was hurting just trying to keep up with it. Unapologetic says the way the world is moving, this is another topic for who some of you need to be in a polygamous relationship anyway. Enough out there already sharing a man. Maybe the law needs to change. You all have accepted this white paper doctrine since 2009, and the position has evolved since then. The so-called Christian society have sat down and allowed a whole dump truck of other BS with this domestic partnership and same partnership. Oh, come on. Unapologetic. That's where you're going with this? Well, news alert. The fornicating has existed long before 2009. The people marrying each other and still being married and cheating, go back to Adam and Eve. Huh? It's long been around. Good morning, Lindy. Happy birthday to you. Kilwani says, "Come through, Sandy. You're putting this stuff together. It's a mess. My brain hurts." Anthony says, "Another bunch of Jamaicans tying up the court and legal system, all with government jobs." What a mess. Crucial 100 says, Cayman being as small as it is, there's a lot of social issues occurring. Yes, and they have occurred for a very, very long time. You know, so I hate to tell you, but none of this is anything new. Lordy. Shirley says, Jesus Christ. I know, right? Shirley's like, I'm confused. Gabby, you made me spit out my water. Says, I can see why the husband ain't involved. Try and behave yourself. Morning, Miss Ethel. Jose's here. Let's talk about the government ridiculous spending. Oh, God. Tomorrow. We need to get to more of that because it's bad. I think O'Neill works at HSA in the emergency room. Big guy with muscles. Oh, Lord Jesus. Please do not date anybody. Don't do it. And young, big time Christian up in King's Church. Which one is King's? Which one is King's Church? Oh, yes, of course. I expect all three of them to be up on probably the front or second pew up in church. Mm-hmm. Singing some hallelujah praises, honey child. And yeah, I expect no less. That's them for you. Mm-hmm. Yep. Somebody says, hello. You can't give sus on the radio and it cut out. Cha. Try so time things better. Now I'm back on YouTube. Next person says, what a heat. King's is 7-day Adventist in town. Oh, is that the one on Walker's Road? Or the other one on Smith Road? Which 7-day Adventist is that? What? 7-day Adventist? Yes, sir. What a heat. Wait, Tamika Young is married? Yes, she's married. You can imagine. Somebody said this is a throuple. Yes. And I'm sure he got other women out there. These men, I don't know how they find the time, the energy, and the resources to be dating multiple women. Like, seriously. How y'all do it? Keep your story straight. And oh my gosh. Oh, Lord. What a hot mess. Oh, that's the Walker's Road one. Okay. Yes, my darling. Good morning, Sandy. A friend that went to high school with me here in the 90s left Cayman to work for insurance broker in Maryland when we graduated. I spoke with her years later, and she told me that she works for a company that buys insurance policies from persons that are terminally ill, specifically infected with HIV/AIDS. She told me that 90% of their clients were from the airline industry, pilots and stewardess. Damn. Sadly, yes, their profession encourages a loose lifestyle. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Sandy. She's been with 5 officers plus the current director and past director Lavis. She's currently dating Carly James. What? She's with the directors too, allegedly. Oh my God. Whew. Now that puss gets around. Child, that husband of hers might want to check things out. Go get yourself an HIV screening. I think are they still doing free screenings, or was that last week? Go pay for it. Sounds like it would be well worth it with this woman. I'm just saying. Wow. Damn. She's getting around. 5 officers plus. Who the heck is Carly James? He's another officer? This woman? What where's the secret sauce? Can y'all please tell me what am I missing here? Wow. I'm looking, and don't date prison officers. My God. I mean, she looked kind of homely. She didn't really look like she'd be out there swinging from the lampshades, but she must have got something. Shannon says she looks like a man. Well, Shannon, she must have got something. They got these guys fawning over her, and she can have so many. Perla says, morning, men don't keep it in their pants anymore. It's a one for all Black Friday sale in 2024. Girl, that's not just this. That's champion. Not just 2024, all the time. All right, we're going to get there, Miss Lucille. We'll do that one tomorrow because we need to dissect some of the foolishness that was said, and I need to clip some videos. Strong mind and body says they say kitty don't have face, and I believe that because these men, they don't care. Half the time, they're not even verifying that it's actually a hole. They just be like, oh, just let me push it in. Like they'll push in any hole, honey jail. Lord Jesus. No, sir. Y'all need to do better. Y'all have got to do better. Oh my God. I can't with y'all. When you roll over after it's all said and done, do you not have to look at the person for at least 5 seconds? Ay. No, sir. This is like next level madness. Shirley says maybe it's her lips. Secret sauce is in the lips. The secret sauce is sweet and low, says Marshall. Y'all need a hotter sauce than Scotch bonnet. Heaven bless, says Sandy. Talk about Fred and other contractors are in court for the same crimes. Listen to me. Why is Fred not in jail? We've talked about him so much. I'm sick and tired of talking about him. The only question I have is why is he not in jail by now? Lord Jesus. And Gabby says, okay, Miss Grippy. Lord Jesus. Shen Yang fans trying to help women to catch up with the men these days. What my friend Shen Sia say that she dating 2 men at the same time? Yes, sir. But I mean, listen, this is the difference. You can date as many people as you want. I mean, you know, sometimes you're not ready to settle down, but you have to be honest with people, right? So you date them and you say, I'm out here dating in these streets. I'm not settling down. I'm dating. But you cannot be married and supposedly in a committed relationship and then out here dating every officer on the block. That's a whole different situation. Anthony says with a face like that, you got to make that kitty for you. And you got to, I think you might say to make that kitty work for you in a male dominated environment. Lord Jesus, no, son. God of Egypt says, I tune into your channel every morning, Miss Sandy, and I must tell you, I enjoy your program every day, all the time. Thank you so much, God of Egypt. I appreciate it. Fred is still on the site because our DLP, Department of Labor and Pensions, has no balls. If they had balls, that man would be in handcuffs and his ass would be sitting in jail. As fat as it is, find him 2 jail seats and make him sit down. But this is what happens when you bring pure slackness to the table. It's like they don't have no real enforcement power. That's why he can do what he does with those poor people. But you know what? Let me tell you something now. This is how this can go down. You know, y'all come closer, children. Pay attention. Because the day those poor Jamaicans get enough and one of them hit Fred with some, what they got on the work site, a brick or something else, some tool that they had to go spend money on and buy their own work permit, whatever. The day one of them hit Fred with that, I'm not going to have no sympathy for Fred. You hear me? I'm just being honest. They going to box Fred down, lick him upside his head, beat him up, and then I will have zero sympathy for Fred. And I don't want none of Fred's children be calling me Talking about, oh, you have to help her daddy out. He now in a coma in the hospital. Fred gonna get what Fred gonna get because he keep frigging around with people. And then people gonna have enough. You mess with people and their money. Those poor guys are here working their asses off to try to save a few dollars and send money home. And people like Fred is taking advantage of them. I'm surprised nobody not boxed Fred down yet. That's the only thing that has shocked me. I'm like, Fred got the luck of the fucking Irish. And he not Irish? He from East End? No, sir. What a hot mess. See Fred there? This only look at one pipe. Don't worry. It's not going to be a robbery next time. It's going to be something else you can hear. He's out there threatening these guys on the work site. Shut the work site down. I cannot believe. Oh, shit. We got breaking news. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here now. Oh, somebody says, is the tattoo shop sus today? I think we better, What? Oh my God. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Alert the presses. Tune in right now. Oh my God. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Come on. Hold on a second. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my God. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold the presses. I gotta get on Renee right now. She needs to get this on the website. Jesus, peace. My God, Missy. Wow. This is shocking. Lord Jesus. Oh my God. Check your messages urgently. Okay. Rasclot. Missy. Hold on now. OMG. Breaking news. You're going to hear it here first. Of course, on the Cold Hard Truth. Wow. This is good news. There has been 3 persons arrested early this morning in the death of, on suspicion of murder, in the death of the toddler, Alicity Powell. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. You know, we were here on the show that morning that she had gone missing. And when she was found, my heart was broken. I could not believe it. And the story, remember we said the story never added up. Never added up. I hope one of those people is her fucking mother, because I do not believe that that woman is as innocent as she wants us to think and to believe. No, I have always felt like she had a role to play in this, but we soon find out. Where my Brackers at? Brackers? Who they arrest this morning? I need names, honey child. I need names. Wow. You see, the police been working this case. You know, y'all sit there and think they're not as fool as you think sometimes. They're making y'all think, oh, there was no foul play. That body didn't move by itself. So they have a 32-year-old woman residing in Bordentown, a 33-year-old man residing in Bordentown, and a 26-year-old woman residing in Bordentown. All 3 persons have been detained at the detention center as investigations continue. How old's the mother? Is she any of them? So they all lived in Bogtown. You see that story with the boyfriend and the sister and the drug boyfriend. Oh yeah, I told you that man. He was outside smoking. Boy, early in the morning. No, honey child, that story never added up. You're gonna be smoking and see a little baby get up in diapers and walk around, and then the mother story never added up either. Ooh, honey child, y'all need to tell me who this is. All right, let me think now. Who? Somebody. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember my sources on this one. Ay. Well, I'm glad they got somebody, and now we got to just hear who it is. Oh my God. What is her name again? Hey. Child. I mean, I heard the mother got a little problem with the white powder stuff, you know? Well, her mother ain't at work today. How old is she? That was pure slackness from day one. I'm sorry, but you expose your children to people, certain people. My God, poor little thing. Oh my God, I wonder what really happened to that poor baby. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's so heartbreaking. Unbelievable. Lord Jesus. Well, I really hope that there can be some justice in the end for this child, because I don't think her mother did right by her. You know, her mother said that she believed back in April 2023 that she was murdered. And I always wondered why she was so I've always felt, and you know, this is just me. I've always felt that the mother knew more. And so, you know, while she was saying, oh yeah, her child was murdered, she needed to come forward and provide more information to the police. Somebody knows what happened to that child that night. That was not a situation where that child just went missing. You know, it just didn't, the whole story just never made any sense. So poor little Elicity, little child, her life just taken from her because of what? What happened? You know? My God. Wow. Well, we will certainly be trying to get the source on that and keep y'all updated. You know, sometimes justice takes a while. And I hope now the police have done a thorough investigation into this and try to bring, you know, the responsible parties to justice. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Well, I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. I just hope that they have their shit together with the case and, you know, that they can make it, they can make this stick if this is really what happened. Sorry, as well as provides a chronological. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is pretty wild. Okay. All right. This somebody says the mother is 32. Could the mother be one of the people arrested? Wow. The mother's a drug addict, like the boyfriend, motherfucker. I hope they give them the death penalty and there was no water found in her lungs. First of all, that baby could not have walked. That baby didn't walk there. Let's be very, very clear. That was always a bullshit story. Unbelievable. There's a special place in hell for her if she had anything to do with this. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Listen, children, you live to protect them. You don't put them in harm's way, and you certainly don't do that. You don't harm children, and you don't, I don't know. This whole situation has just been so incredibly unsettling from the onset. I mean, I remember when we got word that they had found her. We actually had called, remember, to get an update, and they just found her body, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, even if you don't have children, you just know that there's certain things that are just off limits. Just unbelievable. That poor child. All right. Well, we're hoping for justice, for real. Been over 2 years already. All right. Man, my heart is just very, just very, very heavy. Just so sad. Parents, y'all need to do better. That's all I can tell you. Please. I'm begging you. Stop exposing your children to no good people. I don't care if they're family members or who they are or whatever. Just do better as parents, like for real. It's so. Unbelievable, really. Okay. We'll get some details soon, I'm sure. We'll start to hear who they have in custody. My money is the 3 people who we knew were in that apartment. The boyfriend, the mother, and his sister. That's I'm putting my money right there. I don't know about anybody else. Mm-hmm. Remember when we did a whole analysis of the video that she did? I'd have to go pull that up in my archives. But there was a lot of interesting things that she said, even in that really made me pause and go, I don't know that I believe this woman. You know, there's something. She's always struck me as being very manipulative. Mm-hmm. All right. Lots of questions, obviously, folks. 1 second here. Unbelievable. I'm actually writing, I'm doing a draft for you. Give me 2 seconds and you can take it over. Have a look at what I have here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Just 1 second here, folks. This is the teamwork that we put into this. All right, here now. Let me see something. Such a sad situation. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. What a mess. Okay. What a mess. Okay. Folks, we can only hope that justice now will be served. Island Pearl, positive vibe says, finally. Jamila says, oh my God. Mark said, if you say, oh my God, one more time, sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my Lord. Sorry. Island Pearl says, praise God if it's true. Marshall says, God doesn't sleep. Finally, justice. Well, we're on the road to justice, I think. Gabby, yes, that's a little baby that was found on the block. Perla says, oh my God, right? Melissa says, I said that too. Rhonda says, oh my God, it's about time. Thank you, Jesus. Siobhan says, WTF, kill the toddler. Yo, that's sad. Sharm says about bloody time. Gabby says, thank you, Jesus. I think the entire community has a collective sigh of relief that this isn't going to be another unsolved event and coming back, because God knows they got some shit going on there that never gets solved. You know, we deserve justice for, what's the gentleman that got ran over in the bluff? His family deserves justice too. Tony says 2-year-old on South Side on the bluff. Yep. Rest in peace, sweet baby, says Charm. Tony says, can you imagine being the healthcare worker who had to pronounce that baby girl? Oh my God, no. This has been very, very difficult for a lot of people. Her grandmother, I mean, so many people, the father. Darlene says, and that little baby was such a pretty little princess. Gabby says, some parents don't deserve children. That's amen to that. Shannon says, whenever you see those guys in the street, give them some love. Key man by tooting your horn. They work so hard and don't deserve this mistreatment. Every day they walk back and forth with their water to and from the work site. Speaking of that construction site. Lucky Body says this is really good news. I hope the child gets justice. Unapologetic says, I can tell you it wasn't the RCAPS that would have made these strides in the case. Morna says, oh my God, because God is on your side, everything must come to light. Cuz who's the cuz that you're referring to? Gabby says that they solved the other one too. Which other one? I'm trying to remember his name now. My goodness. It's just on the tip of my tongue. Justice for the baby says strong mind and body. John LaRue says it's the baby in the back that's been 2 years now, John. Over 2 years. Yeah. Hats off to the detectives. Yeah. I mean, listen, give them their credit. They pulled it together. They went and brought, child forensic experts from overseas. And this is an example, I suppose, of when the police will know certain things. And as they say, sometimes you play dumb to be wise. You play fool to catch wise. That's probably what they're doing. Somebody on Instagram says, sorry to say, but all 3 of them should be locked up. They're lucky that we don't have the death penalty in Cayman, because if we did, this would be a death penalty case, and as well as it should be. Tony says, I always felt that this was a case that would only be solved if someone found their conscience and finally decide to tell the truth about what happened. Whoever is speaking now, thank you. Well, we'll find out. Yeah, right. They want us to believe that a baby can walk out in a thunderstorm in her diapers, a 2-year-old. Listen, if a 2-year-old is scared because of a thunderstorm, whatever, she's not going outside. She's coming looking for her mom. I have a suspicion that the boyfriend was probably touching a child or did something and they had to silence her. I've always felt like that's probably what happened. That this probably started out as a sexual abuse case or something inappropriate happened with that child and they felt like they needed to silence her to cover that up. And then that led to, we'll find out as it goes along. Rhonda says in Cayman, there's no justice, 2 maps a day. No, 2 maps a day. No man to obey and no bills to pay. We need to bring back the death penalty, that precious baby. This is so sad. My heart aches every day for the precious little angel. May her sweet soul rest in peace. Jess says what's done in the dark will come to light. Absolutely. Liana, they have arrested 3 people, thankfully, for murder. In the death of baby Elicity. Powell and Cayman Brack. So this is a bit of good news. I'm hoping it means that justice will be served. Oh boy, it's a tough one. Really, really tough. Oh boy. Unbelievable. All right. We will certainly keep you guys updated on this case. Mitchell, thank you, Kim Bracker. You know, we'd like to see some justice in the case of Mitch as well, whose life was taken on the roadways of Kim Brack. It's just unbelievable. Scammers, why are y'all in my chat this morning? Like, seriously, you get blocked and your comments get deleted. They're so annoying. Ashley said exactly that child wouldn't leave the mother's side because the baby girl had separation anxiety. Yeah, her story just never ever added up. And it kept shifting a little bit from the first reports. You saw this like shift of what actually happened. Thank you, RCIBS, for, you know, making this arrest today, because it would have been such a tragedy if this had gone truly unsolved. Mark says, Sandy, to be honest, some of these women who get with a man they don't know, most of the women are telling the men, if you get with me, they have to take care of the child, not knowing the type of man they're involving in their kids' lives. Yeah, listen, there's definitely enough slackness to go around in this community when it comes to women and men and children and, you know, the danger that people just willful ignorance, the dangers that they're willing to put their own children in, all for the sake of trying to keep a man or keep a woman. I have never understood that. I'm just like, what? It's just unbelievable. And if she's one of the people involved in this, she should hang first if death penalty was still here. Her own daughter, and then feigning all this time about how she, don't get me started. This would be a different level of wickedness as a mother. We'll soon see. One thing about Cayman, nothing, no stand to cover for long, honey child. We will certainly find out who these individuals are in due course. Somebody said that she's been in the news elsewhere, and they are wondering, but the police weren't keeping her up to date. They're wondering if maybe the police weren't keeping her up to date because she was suspect number 1. That's entirely possible. Entirely possible. Someone says, hopefully we can get justice for the little 4-year-old Jeremiah Barnes who was shot in West Bay. That's another very sad case. Absolutely. This person says, so many people would have taken that sweet little girl and raised her. They didn't have to kill her. I myself would have taken her to raise. I mean, and she has, you know, her grandmother works CNB, Miss Janet. I hear, Miss Janet's son, there were options. There were options. But I think the mother just wanted to live this fast life and, drugs. Apparently she has a job working Maples or whatever. But my sources tell me she snorts cocaine, but she's like functional with it, which some people apparently can be. And there's a whole other element of like corporate Cayman. I mean, she's only a legal secretary, but still, these law firms and stuff, this is what they do. Some of them out there snorting it and shooting it up and whatever else. I don't know how else they ingest it, but just because they're not smoking the poor man's version, the crack doesn't mean that they don't have a problem, that they're not addicts. So this is shocking news, but welcome news at the same time. Unapologetic says, wow, now it could have been a sexual assault towards a child. Nothing like that has ever been mentioned or even expressed in gossip conversations. Why isn't it a case that the whatless mother is or was at fault, made to understand she was not motherly in any sense? Well, I think we all agree on that. But what would have led to them killing this child in the middle of the night? I mean, you have to think about it, right? Did the child get into, like, they had a stash of drugs there? That's another possibility. Did the child somehow do something accidentally with the drugs? But in the middle of the night when the child's supposed to be sleeping, because remember the initial events was that she was sleeping, the boyfriend got up to go outside to have a smoke, right? The last time she claimed she saw the child was sleeping, whatever. And he claims that he saw the child get up. Like, the whole thing just felt very, like, it just never meshed with me at all. I'm like, something happened with that boyfriend and that child. JD Whitaker said, I honestly think she knew or has something to do with this, and that was very sad to say. Who are you talking to? Marcia says, I hope you don't think I'm a scammer. I am not. I was listening to you and heard an expression you use and thought she must be a Jamaican or have Jamaican roots. I'm sorry if I offended you. Are you talking to me? We're in the Cayman Islands, very close to Jamaica. My grandfather is Jamaican, and I have a Jamaican husband. So, don't know what you heard, but something might have slipped out, yes. Yeah, it's possible. Sometimes we mix it up a little bit. Ms. Vadine says it's so sad when it comes to child paying the ultimate price. Yeah, Justice says Fred and Kayla are both culprits, and still none of them are locked up and still getting contracts and using employees. Who the hell's Fred and Kayla? Oh, you mean at the construction site? All right. We can talk about mental health tomorrow because I do want to talk about the mental health facility. The opening was a bit of a hot mess, the attacks and stuff. Now that it's supposed to be open, I have my suspicions. We're going to talk about it. But hold on, this could be some stuff about who's arrested. Hold on. Yeah. Oh boy, we got it now. We got it now. Y'all know I gotta keep my sources confidential, you know. Now I had to hit that mute button real quick, honey chat, because I know when I see that number calling me, they got the goods. So look, you know. Hold on. We are about to tell you all who some of the arrested persons are. Okay. So listen. All right. So, Chantel McLean is definitely one of them. Okay? She was in the house that night and had a physical fight with Ivani just a week before over something out at Scott's Dock. So, that one we know is arrested. Now, the interesting thing is, hold on here now. Someone said, well, Thomas McLean, that was killed on February the 14th, 2023 in a car crash, can't be reprimanded because he is 6 feet under. And I'm like, well, who the hell is he again? Because you can't remember after a while. The mother needs to talk about is why he was up in the hospital every day in her ear hole after they found the baby on the beach. Hold on now. I remember this. Hold on. So he was killed. Yep. Father of 5 killed in Cayman Brac crash. You guys remember this story? So his daughter, see it here? His daughter now is one of the people arrested. So this Chantel McLean is his daughter. This person goes on to say, that useless fuck who is known for raping people, children, and selling cocaine to public works employees, many Brackers suspect he was trying to convince her to keep her mouth shut, waiting for the names. They seem to want to keep the information secret, but it could only be Ivani, that's the mother, right? Katie Joe and the boyfriend Devon Wright. Then they said, so I'm told no, not Katie Joe. She's the sister of the boyfriend. I'm told not her, but this other woman, Chantel McLean. Ivani is the mother and the boyfriend Devon Wright. I suspected the other two who arrested. This person says confirming the mother was arrested. She was in the house that night and had a physical fight. So that's now, yeah. So what a mess. Oh my God. This person said, I'm so glad that they made an arrest. Hope one of those is the mother. If she wasn't arrested for murder, then she should be arrested for neglect. She got some fucking nerves. Well, they say God don't sleep. God not sleeping yet today. Y'all out here just trying to live this fake life, you see? Trying to be something you're not. Girl, go take several seats. In jail. They should beat you every day that you're up in there. There she is. Having a nice birthday dinner, November the 18th. The nerve. The nerve. Boy, I tell you. Island Pearl says, I feel the boyfriend and mother were arguing when he went after the child by strangling her. And by that time, it was already too late. So they needed to fabricate a story. JD says, I pray and hope the mother had nothing to do with this. She had to. The mother was there. The mother was there. I would find that hard to believe. Justice coming for all of them, hopefully. Somebody said, glad this whatless bitch was arrested. All right. We still don't get confirmation. Y'all not gotta worry about that. Because you know my sources are all over the place now. They're gonna be calling me all day. And as soon as we know, not long after y'all gonna know. The ages kind of match up though. How much you had birthday? Yeah, you'll continue to get to live and have birthdays, and that poor little baby gone. You know, I would commit a crime, a petty crime, of course, just to go in and sit with her in prison for like, just give me 30 minutes alone, officers. Worthless piece of shit. Lord have mercy. Wow. It's unbelievable. All right. Jeez. It's just very sad. It's just really, really sad. That poor child. You know, if you guys don't want to have children, folks, you know, there are options out there. Utilize them, please. Somebody said there's lots of Chantal. It's not Chantal. I think it's Sean Tal. It sounds like with an S. So Thomas McLean is her dad, the one that passed away in that accident in Cayman Brack. Mm-hmm. What a mess. Unbelievable. All right. We'll keep y'all updated. And like I said, as soon as we know more, we will certainly advise you guys as well. It's a sad situation. Very, very sad. Mm-hmm. All right. Have a good day. As much as you can. Spice said some people are not made for parenting, that's for sure. Jan, good morning, said karma's a bitch. When it comes around, she will suffer. Devani says she has them, so any of you give them money and don't have to work. Sad, but didn't this woman have a good job at Maples? I mean, I don't know why she would need, you know. Thank you, Yanisli. Ruby says, please recap, just joining. So Miss Ruby, by the way, join our WhatsApp channel so you get all these news alerts as it happens. But we've just got, as we were really about to start wrapping up the show, we've just got word that breaking news this morning, there have been 3 people arrested in the murder now of little Alicity Powell, the little toddler that went missing in Cayman Brack. 2.5 years later, she was found on the Iron Shore. They've arrested a 32-year-old woman, a 33-year-old man, and a 26-year-old woman. My sources have said that one of the women, which I believe is the 26-year-old, is Chantel McLean. Anybody has a picture of her, please share it. So Chantel McLean, and then the man and the woman, the 32-year-old and 33-year-old, we suspect and have been told from other sources that the woman is the mother, Ivani, that has been arrested, and the man. Those two we don't have confirmed, but I do know that Chantel McLean, which is Thomas McLean's daughter, was definitely arrested. So another source have said that the other two would be the mother and the boyfriend. We will confirm those. The age of the 32-year-old woman matches the age of the mother, so that's possible. But we will certainly get that straight. And the mother's name is Ivani Watler. So we'll see. But by all accounts, a very, very joyous day in the Cayman Islands, to know that we might finally have some justice here with this situation. If she's one arrested, I mean, it's amazing that she would have been out here talking about, oh, they need to find my child's murderer. Look like they found him. Poor little baby. What a wicked woman. All right, folks. We'll keep y'all updated. Yeah, somebody else saying they're hearing the mother was one of them. Good. So, looks like the mother might be one. I've always felt in my heart of hearts that it was her. So, make her ass go to jail, yes. What a whatless woman. My God. How on earth could you do such a thing? Wow. Unbelievable. Lord Jesus. And then feigning like she's the victim here. Really? And well, last week somebody sent me the Compass article, like, oh, look, Sandy, they still haven't found that baby's murder. Look, I was like, you know what? She had something to do with it. I'm not giving her no more coverage. That fucking bitch had something to do with this. And just last week I said that, somebody sent me and I was like, don't send that to me. I'm not doing nothing on her. Because I don't believe her. Never did. Seriously. I don't want this woman. Good. Thank you, RCIPS. This person says Thomas McLean's daughter is a 26-year-old. Yep, that's what I figured. So I think it's the 26-year-old, the 32-year-old is the mother, and the 33-year-old is the boyfriend, Devon. Yeah. To think that somebody said they need to hang all three of them. Exactly. To think that you could put your head down at night and sleep. Soka says, if karma was real, the world would be filled with all good people. No such thing as karma. No, I agree with you, Soka, but there is such a thing as consequences. And there are times that your actions catch up with you. Jim says that was all a mix-up case and none of it sounded right from the jump. Sad, sickening, disgusting, despicable, and a horrific act brought against this sweet, innocent child. Tiara, is that how you spell your name? I pronounce it Tiara or Tiara? Says heartless with a broken heart emoji. Island Pearl says, I'm praying that they have concrete evidence against them because it makes no sense to release them after arresting them. Well, hopefully now, this is one of those cases where, yes, the RCIPS would recognize the necessity of ensuring, maybe this is why they took so long. They got all their ducks lined up because they can't fuck this up. Y'all can't get this wrong. Okay? This community will burn down the police station. So yes, y'all get it right. Double check, triple check, quadruple check your witnesses, your evidence, everything before they even arrested them, because this is such a high profile and critical case. So hopefully they put their best of the best of the best on it. So, all right. Okay. I'll keep y'all updated. Tomorrow is what? Thursday. So Jan says if they don't want the kids, just keep their legs closed. That is all. Listen, I'm not even gonna, Jan, listen to me carefully now. I'm not even gonna request that of them because God knows they can't keep their legs closed now. You asking for too much, honey, chill. These roving whores that we have around the place, they're not gonna keep their legs shut. I'm not even gonna say it that much. Open your legs all you want. But use birth control now. Use protection. So, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna, if they want to open their legs, by all means, go ahead. Do that. I'm not gonna preach that because we know that'll make no sense. They're not gonna stop. But don't have the children when you really don't want the children. Use protection. Give the child to the grandmother. Other people wanted the child. If you want to live this free lifestyle out here smoking and drinking and, you know, snorting cocaine and whatever, living your best, you know, crazy life as a wannabe drug addict, then go out there and do that. But when you have children, don't mix your children up in that type of environment. That's where the problem lies. You can deal with the consequences. And unfortunately, even in those circumstances, your children will still have consequences to deal with. You know, if they're separated from a parent, that's never easy in a child. So, Al Ray, he says, don't abstain. That's good for your mental health. Yes, go out there and do it all you want. Eddie, what on earth are you talking about, baby drama mama? All right, folks. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back, hopefully. 7:30. We'll talk about Poinsiana Point. We didn't get to that today. Poinsiana, not Poinsiana Point. What's it called? Poinciana Medical Facility. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about mental health. We just had a young man commit suicide. I think they've taken him off of life support yesterday by hanging. That's a very sad situation. Caymanian. I understand over some woman, son, and young man out there, there's more fish in the sea. There's no man or woman that is worth you killing yourself over, trust me. But unfortunately, they found him hanging from a tree. Georgetown Central. Very, very sad situation. So our condolences and thoughts with that family. Somebody says she's drinking her life away. She's a disgusting piece of junk. While the baby was home, she was at a party. Yeah, she was constantly leaving the children. She'd even go to the bar and leave the kids in the car. Police had stopped her for that. They should have done more and taken those children from her. She just didn't want to be a mother, obviously. All right. We'll talk about it some more tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have all the names and stuff sorted by tomorrow's show. Y'all, please have a good day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.